You are live. All right, we are live. Let me double check. Sorry, I always want to test my. Just going to test the volume. I always go on the YouTube app to make sure that. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
Awesome.
Jesus.
Marv, your camera work, just like when we shot Mortality, getting all shaky on us.
Well, that's just because I don't know where I'm looking at or I'm supposed to be looking. So
No, you're good. Yeah, you're looking. No, you're looking the right direction.
okay.
So, everyone, this is MARV YOLA, one of my best friends. We've been friends for almost 6 years. We've collaborated on short films, 2 short films that you've made, a bunch of short films that I've made, feature-length films, and we talk about movies all the time. This time, we'll especially be focusing on not just movies and TV shows, but we'll talk about box office. I know you said you just saw A Quiet Place, so we'll definitely be talking about that because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on that movie. Because not gonna lie, Nicolette and I enjoyed it. I think that. So I guess that's what we'll start with, Marv. What with a Quiet Place Day One, what didn't you like about it exactly? And no spoilers in case our viewers haven't seen it.
Okay. So, well, off the bat, I want to say that I respect what the director was going for. I really thought that I got the whole point of what was going on. And I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I think you know what I'm talking about or what I'm referring to. What like the story, what they were trying to do with the story. I understood what they were doing, but you might laugh at this part. But earlier in the day, before I saw the movie, I was watching a review from our favorite reviewer, Grace Randolph. Right?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. So, in her review, she said she liked the movie, but she said it was almost like a caution warning on it. Basically, she was like, the director didn't understand the assignment, and that it was a mistake to choose him because this is not what is advertised. Like what the movie is supposed to be, like a summer monster movie. You know, it's A Quiet Place. We already know what it's supposed to be based on the other 2 movies. And going into it, you're thinking, oh yeah, New York, the day that they first got here, you're like, oh, let's go. And it's not that. And when I realized, I was like, all right, okay, so I'm still going to go in excited, but I'm a little nervous now. So I go in to watch it. And I think about 20 minutes in, maybe 30 minutes in, I was like, man, she was right. And then on top of that, though, as I watched it, I went to go see it with my dad, by the way.
Did he like it?
No, neither one of us did. We were bored. It was boring. I thought that the movie was boring. Like I was out of my mind bored. Like
Really?
I almost fell asleep. I'm almost certain I fell asleep for like 2 minutes. Like I couldn't wait for it to be over.
See, it's funny because I wasn't really looking forward to it. But I think we spoke about that. I wasn't really excited for it because the trailer just seemed like, I don't know, pretty atypical. And it's like, oh, gee, Whittaker's. I wonder what caused this all. And instead, we got a intimate character journey that wasn't really. It didn't really care about like, oh, how did it happen? It was more of like, here's this character, here's this journey that they're going on, and I don't know. I found it to be like surprisingly emotional. Like I felt really bad that she had cancer, and it's like she had all this like stuff happening, and nobody really there for her. Like I was just surprised by that aspect. So I don't know. I liked how it was.
I want to tell you that I agree with you. That is none of that is bad. None of that. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. My dad wasn't saying it was a bad movie either. Like we both like her. I love Lupita. Like Lupita's my wife. Just so you know. I love me some Lupita. Always have, always will. I'm happy for her career. This is a good mark on her career. Uh, uh, I'm happy for everybody involved. I saw like Alex Wolff got a part in this.
He was good.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm not hating on anybody, and I'm glad the director has this on his resume. It'll probably open some doors for him. But going back to what Grace said, and she even liked the movie, but something that she said that I definitely agree with is like he didn't understand the assignment, because I hear what you're saying about, we had this character journey and all of that. And I agree with you. However, my dad said this in the car, that it was almost like as if it was like a good idea for a short film that they stretched out to 2 hours. And I really brought into that, because I feel like if I saw this as like a fan film on YouTube that was like 10 to 20 minutes, I think it would have been awesome. But I was like, watching the movie, I was like, what is happening here? And then when she finally found that, hold up, I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, Marv's about to get into spoilers.
No,
All I will say is that ending was pretty ballsy. Like, I was like, that was like, I really liked it, because I don't know, like, without spoiling anything, I just thought it was kind of refreshing that, I don't know, part of a franchise is able to stand on its own.
I think the ending is pretty cool, because I don't want to spoil anything, but the ending is cool. I think that people really do love Lupita in her performance.
Oh, she was great. She was great.
So the ending is fine. I think if they would have ended it, no matter how they made the movie, that would have been a great ending. But I'm thinking, like, I just thought that was boring. That, like, the whole movie was just boring. I was bored. I was never once scared. I was never thrilled. Like, I was bored. I was in it with Lupita, but I didn't care about the guy. What's his name? Eric, whatever his name was.
Yeah, he was in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't care. I wanted him to die.
You wanted him to, oh my goodness.
And I wasn't the only one. Like, you should have heard the theater, dude. It was like, oh my god. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but it was like
my theater was actually like really into it, like, which was nice. I went to it was a 5 o'clock Dolby showing, and it sounded really good. Although I found the score to be utterly, forgettable. Like, it was pretty much white noise. And I do think I loved the camera work and like the movement, but I wasn't a fan of like the digital murkiness of it all. I don't know if maybe it was just the projector that I saw it on, but I was just like, this, like, some of the scenes just looked so ugly.
That is a factor sometimes, I've noticed. I think even our theater, for whatever reason, like, it looked like the color was drained out of it. But I'm pretty sure that was them dimming the lights in the projection booth. So that's a whole separate issue that they need to fix.
I do wonder about that with sometimes, like, if I'm at a theater, because then I'll see it at home sometimes, and I'm like, it looks much better. Like, I remember Batman v Superman. That's a good example. When I saw that in theaters, I was like, oh, the cinematography was like, eugh. But then I saw it at home, and I was like, oh, it actually looks really good. Like,
I saw that was the case with Tenet, the way I saw Tenet, and when I saw it at home and then eventually in IMAX, I was like, man, this movie's awesome. But when I first saw Tenet, I was like, this movie sucks, right?
Yeah, you did not like Tenet at all.
At all. But now I love it. I still think it's a dumb movie. I just know it's a dumb movie, and I just love it for being dumb.
I don't think it's dumb. I just think that Nolan he wanted to make a James Bond film just straight up, and wanted to add like a little twist to it and just have fun with it. And I'm okay with that.
You could still have a good story with good characters and a good plot.
And he did with Oppenheimer.
We're not talking about Oppenheimer. We're talking about Tenet.
I know. No, Tenet definitely went down for me on rewatches, but I am glad I own it, because I think the 4K is amazing.
Yeah, I might call that a guilty pleasure.
Really?
Yeah. It's not a good movie. It looks great.
Oh yeah.
But it's not good. It even has really bad acting. Did you notice that?
What? From who?
Everybody besides Robert Pattinson.
Really? I don't know. I think
Watch
Elizabeth
it.
Debicki did good.
Watch it again.
I
And
did.
it is.
I
I don't
watched it
think it's
before Oppenheimer.
it's not any of their fault. It's more like what they're given to work with and the way they're directed is the problem. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't call it bad acting, just bad directing. But I don't think the directing's bad though. I think that the choices that are made,
It's
like,
deliberate, but it's still
yeah,
bad. It's still bad. But I like it though. It's fun. It's a fun movie to watch. I know what it is. Like I watched it in IMAX and I was loving every second of it, right? But even while watching, I was like, man, this dialogue is terrible. And
it's a vibes movie. Like
it's
you can just put it on, let it wash over you, and it's fine.
we're not going to let you give this movie passes. You even said that it's gone down. Just own it. The movie sucks, but it's good. It's fun to watch.
I still gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I still like it.
What would I give 10 on a 1 to 10?
I remember when you first saw it, I think you gave it like a 2 out of 10, and I was like,
It's possible that I did, yeah.
and then meanwhile you had me saying that it was better than Inception, which I don't agree with that now. Like I think Inception's better, but
your rating always changes because you're a prisoner of the moment type of guy. Like,
well, but
you
that's
hate.
why I love Letterboxd though, because you can see character development where it's like, oh, my ratings went up, or oh, my ratings went down, or oh, they stayed the same.
I think that I'll give Tenet a strong. What would I give Tenet? I would probably give Tenet, I think, anywhere between a 5 and a 6, maybe a 5.5.
That's fair.
But I think it's a really strong 5.5. I want to give it a 6, but I really do. I feel strongly that it's not a good movie per se. I really think that it's not a bad movie. It's a very well made movie.
When you say guilty pleasure, I think of like Robin Hood 2018. Like
That's
that
like,
for me.
I think that movie's better than this one.
You think that's better than Tenet? Really?
Yes, it's a better story for sure.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I enjoy Robin Hood 2018. Like I got it for $8 on 4K. Like I enjoy that film, but I think Tenet's better.
It's better. It's probably better made. I mean, look at the director. I mean, it better be. But if we had to take into account the screenplay, the acting, like I like really think about this show. John David Washington is a better actor than he is in that movie. He's done much better stuff. I'm talking not about the project itself, but he's put forth better efforts than in that movie, and he had to carry that movie, and he doesn't do it well, right? He doesn't do it well, and it's not all his fault. I don't think he's given a lot to do.
Mark, we got our first comment. David Pictures.
Thank you, David. Thank you.
Look, I think it's solid. Look, I used to love it. Now I don't. Now I just think it's solid. It's fine.
It is a very fun.
For me, it's around the same quality as like Insomnia, where it's not. It's not okay. It's not my go-to Nolan film. It's not my go-to Nolan film. I'll put it to you this way. Like I would say it's probably like number 8, number 9. Take that for what you will.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
Insomnia is a great movie.
Dude, I rewatched it around the same time as Tenet when I was preparing for Oppenheimer, and dude, there's so many scenes where it's like you can't even tell what's happening.
Hush.
At least you can tell what's happening with Tenet. You know what I'm saying? Like it's smooth. He's using the IMAX format.
Insomnia is. I saw that movie when I was 9, and I know it's great. And you're telling me as a grown man that it's.
Dude, I used to agree with you. I used to think that it was a really good film.
It is.
The original is better. I will say I like the original Insomnia better, and the ending of the original Insomnia is better too. I can't get out of my head.
You're on crack. I'm not letting this go, man. What you just said,
Marv? If I'm on crack, we got to let all YouTube know what your favorite movie is.
How to Be Single. I'm owning it. I recommend it to anybody. You haven't even seen it yet.
I saw the first 20 minutes. Don't worry, I'll finish it at some point.
Exactly. You can't what is the saying? You can't throw stones from a glass house. You haven't watched it. I watched your favorite movie, The Lighthouse, and it's trash. It
That's not
sucks.
my favorite movie, though.
It sucks. It's a movie about rubbing lobsters together. I hate it. Hate it, okay?
It's not, though.
Movie sucks.
There
Balls.
is no lobster. There's no scene where people are rubbing lobsters together.
Might as well be.
That's probably what you were thinking about when watching, and in which case, Marv, I think you were in Robert Eggers' headspace.
I'm not a fan of that guy, so
Oh, come on, you're excited for Nosferatu. I know that.
no, I'm not.
What are you talking about? That movie's going to be really good.
We'll see. I mean, I'll go see it, but I anticipate me hating it. I'm not going into it wanting to hate it, but I expect that I will.
Dude, Eggers is 2 out of 3 for you. You liked The Witch, and you liked The Northman.
I actually think I strongly like both of those.
Right.
I love The Northman except the first 20 minutes.
I told you though. I was like, if you get past the first 20 minutes, you'll love it. I mean,
You did.
I like the movie a lot.
The Witch I love.
Introduced us to Anya Taylor-Joy.
It did. My wife. But I'm not excited for Eggers' next movie at all. I'm not. That's not somebody that I'm going to ever be checking for his movies. I've actually listened to him speak, and he's not my cup of tea.
You say that about Ari Aster too, but that guy's like pretty good. I like that there's these indie directors that are able to just do
I'd much rather at least listen to Aster speak than Eggers speak. Like, I mean, both are in the same boat.
Oh, Marv, we got some comments. David Pictures. Haven't seen any of this, to be honest, but I don't think it will be better than the silent version. So I was gonna last October, every October, I always try to watch a bunch of horror films I haven't seen. I was gonna watch Nosferatu, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna wait until it's closer to the remake. So this October, I'll be watching the original Nosferatu. I'm excited because that was a movie I was supposed to watch in one of my film classes, but I think they switched it out with what's the other silent film? I think it was a Buster Keaton film. I don't know why they did that, but I mean, I like Buster Keaton. Don't get me wrong. David Picture also says, since that's a classic, I need to watch it. And
That's the first horror film ever made, right?
I think it's one of them. I don't know if it's
Thank you. Can't articulate. The Prestige is the best Nolan film.
Can't Articulate's awesome. The Prestige is clearly the best Nolan film. Actually, Can't Articulate, I think he just saw Mulholland Drive, and I think he Can't Articulate just started
I've never seen that movie.
Mulholland Drive is incredible. That's top 3 all time for me. Actually, that honestly, I know I say American Beauty is my favorite film, but
don't you dare!
Look, Mulholland Drive.
You've always said American Beauty, so you can't re-up now. Like, come on,
dude. It constantly changes. Like, it used to be Lord of the Rings: Return of the King, then it was Shawshank.
That means that you don't have a favorite movie. I know what my favorite movie is, and it doesn't change.
Yeah, but that's the thing about being a film buff and like film critic. It's like, you know, over time, your opinions can change.
My favorite movie has been my favorite movie for the past 7 years.
Yeah, but what was it before?
Before that one? Hold on, let me think.
So it changed. That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not saying nothing can't blow it out of the water. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it took a long time though. Before that movie, let me see. Hold on.
Mulholland Drive. See, that's the thing. Mulholland Drive I watched around the same time as American Beauty, and I keep coming back to Mulholland Drive. I mean, don't get me wrong, that's the same thing with American Beauty, but
what is the general David Pictures?
David Pictures, he's asking, I believe he's asking if that's the silent film I watched in my film class, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken. I liked my film teacher in that class because it was like an independent film study, so we watched like Night of the Living Dead, Transpotting. So we watched a lot. Like I think that was when I realized, like, oh yeah, I think I really like independent filmmaking. And
it was
watching a bunch of
my film teacher in high school, the one who I did my senior project with. He was the guy who bridged the gap between commercial movies and independent movies for me. Like,
oh, really?
He was the first person that I met that like gave pushback to a lot of like the big movies at the time, and I was like, "What is this blasphemy? You hate Fast and Furious? What?" And I, because like growing up where I'm from, I'm from Philly. If you guys care to know, like Fast and Furious is like that was the MCU before the MCU was a thing. So hearing somebody didn't like Fast and Furious, and he said he didn't like Skyfall. He didn't like a lot of like Nolan's Batman movies. Like he kind of like looked at them as like whatever, and he was like,
But see, in my opinion, it's a balancing act. Like I think someone that, especially a film teacher, they should be able to watch a big blockbuster and also watch like a super indie film. Like it shouldn't just be one or the other.
he was indie all day, all day.
Really?
Like I told him my dream was to make horror movies back then, right? I said I would like to make horror movies, at least coming out the gate, because that's how you establish a track record, and I still feel that way. But
Yeah.
he told me that no, like if I got the chance, I want to do documentaries, I want to do dramas because that's real and yada yada yada. And I'm just like, dude, lighten up.
Well,
And
it's
go
not even accurate though because you can make indie films through horror. Like that's like a great genre to be able to bridge the gap between art and just like pure popcorn fun. Like look at the original Halloween. Look at Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Those
I don't
were
even know if he liked those movies though. I don't think he liked them at all. I think that like,
or what about Night of the Living Dead? Like you saw Night of the Living Dead, right, Marv?
oh yes, I did. I saw it with my dad.
Okay. That
Um,
movie's great. That's one of those movies where when I first saw it in my film class, I thought it was solid, but I couldn't get it out of my head, so I just like rewatched it a couple more times, and it's grown. Like now, it's in my top 100 films list. Like I love that film,
I
and I
can't make
actually hot take. I actually like it more than Dawn of the Dead, and
the remake.
I do love Dawn of the Dead though.
The
1978.
remake you talking about?
No, the remake I think is solid. I think it's a solid Snyder film, but there's
I don't
the
care what you say. Dawn of the Dead is one of the best movies of the 2000s. Bar none.
I hard disagree about that,
I
but I
don't know.
respect your opinion.
I don't know how you could. I watched it. I was watching it not recently, but it was a while ago. I was watching it, and my sister-in-law walked in, and she had never seen it, and she just like caught it for like 5 minutes. Like, dang, this movie's awesome. I was like, I know, it's so good.
I
It's
saw
so
it once, and that was shortly after I saw the original, and I like the commentary on the 1978 one about like commercialism and just like consumerism.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't really remember much about the Snyder film. I think in the moment I enjoyed it, but it's kind of it's in the back of my memory where I'm like I saw that, but I don't really remember much.
I love that movie. That actually, no, I'm not even lying to you. No cap. I think that Dawn of the Dead actually could be his best movie.
Oh boy, I'm gonna ask in the group in the chat. What is Zack Snyder's best film? I'm very curious to hear people's thoughts.
We'll get,
Also, we have a couple comments.
go ahead.
Bootzilla says Tenet is good. So we do have a Tenet fan in the group. I'm glad to hear that, Bootzilla. I enjoy it. Like I said, solid film. David Pictures says, has anybody seen Dark Star? Marv, have you seen that?
I think I did, but I don't remember it.
It's John Carpenter.
Yeah, I think I did see. I think I saw it years and years ago with my dad. Um, on Saturdays, we used to like they used to have this something called UPN on TV, like a basic television, and they used to show all those movies. Christine, they
Oh
showed
yeah, I like Christine.
King Cobra, Pumpkinhead, Dark Star was one of them, but I don't remember it at all. Like I don't remember. I remember I saw it, and I remember my dad loved it. They used to show it all day, like every Saturday. They would show all of them all day, like nonstop. Um, uh, I actually don't know how I feel about Carpenter as a whole, man. I know I love Halloween.
Sergey and I we did a ranking of John Carpenter's films like on the channel.
Mm.
And so I did see to answer your question, David Pictures, I did see it as well. And I don't know. I thought it was I felt kind of indifferent to it.
Yeah, that's how I feel about all of his movies except Halloween.
What about Assault on
I
Precinct
like the
13?
remake better.
I need to watch the remake. The remake's better, you said?
I think so. David might think that I'm being blasphemous, but I love the remake. The remake is my jam.
Okay, I'm gonna. In that case, I'm gonna try to make a point to watch it soon. Then,
Which means you'll watch it in 2 years.
no, stop. I finally saw Baby Boy. Don't worry.
And that
I'll
took
get.
how long? Just for anybody who's watching. Hold on, let me see. Oh no, no,
David,
David, you're right. David, you're
Batman v
right.
Super. Yeah, I do like Batman v Superman Extended Edition.
No,
for
no, no.
sure. Like,
But David,
I'm with you, David.
David, what I'm saying, David, is I think that BVS is like his. I want to call it a masterpiece because I love it so much. But when I say Dawn of the Dead is his best movie, I mean like just out of it's like it's non-controversial. It's like that was like he just came on the scene and like did his movie. I feel like with BVS, even though I love it, it does still carry a lot of baggage. Like it's still people, even the extended edition, people still hate it. Like it caused such a riff. And I think when I think about the Dawn of the Dead, that was just Snyder being Snyder, and it was a solid script written by James Gunn. Most people don't even know that he wrote that movie.
It
I think.
shows because it's it's a movie that nobody really talks about. I'm kidding.
Oh God. Okay. You're just
Hey,
such.
we can talk James Gunn in
You
this if
you
you
hate
want.
James Gunn now too?
I have some thoughts about him as a director.
Hold on. Put a pin in that because I want to circle back. I want to circle right back
We
around.
will. Let me. So, Can't Articulate says number one for him is Man of Steel. Respect.
Man of Steel is one of my favorite movies of all time.
And then he says number two. So it looks like his ranking is similar to yours because he has number two as Dawn of the Dead. And then Bootzilla says Man of Steel over Justice League over 300.
I like Bootzilla's list.
So my question is this Justice League 2017 or 2020?
It's obviously the Snyder cut.
I know, I'm messing. I'm messing.
But I can't make Snyder Cut his best movie because it's all over the place. I remember I told you we have to edit an hour out of it because it's not refined. It's like he just threw everything at the kitchen sink.
Okay, that movie I will allow us to edit. Girls Dragging Tattoo. Girls Dragging Tattoo. We ain't editing. That literally won best editing at the Oscars.
Hold up, do you still have it? I want it so I can watch it.
I do.
Can I watch it?
I do
please?
have it.
I need it.
We didn't finish it, but
because you won't let me.
Every time I like start to remember the edits that you did to that movie, I'm like, no.
But here's the deal: we didn't refine my cut either. For everybody who's listening, right? So we were re-editing The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, the Fincher version, okay? Because it was my, I guess, suggestion. It was my suggestion, but while watching it, I realized it's a great movie. I just thought that it dragged a little bit. So I was like, we need to just cut some of this fat off of here and get to it.
That movie is as tight as a drum. There's not a moment wasted in The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
BS.
Legit. Oh my goodness. And actually,
it takes to
be honest, I'm not gonna lie. Like I was actually the one that threw out the idea because I was like, all right, Marv, put your money where your mouth is.
I did, and you don't want me to cash in.
Marv, I'm not gonna spoil The Girl Drinking That too, but the end you made a movie that is like reeking of nihilism into a happy ending. Like
hold up, could you explain that for me? I've never understood what nihilism meant. So
nihilism is, I guess, to break it down like in short, it's essentially just depressing for depression's sake. That's what the joke is in the being like the Big Lebowski is that like the bad guys are nihilists, meaning they don't really believe in anything and they're just like, constantly like depressed. Like it's so that's what I'm saying.
Are you accusing me of being depressing for depression?
No. I'm saying that The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo is like a film that's reeking of that. Like there's like very little happiness, and then whenever there is a possibility of it, it gets taken away. So then to have an ending where it's all happy,
it wasn't happy. All I did was make some changes that needed to be made for sure.
Marv, it literally your cut ends in like what? I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil The Girl and Drag.
I'm down to spoil my cut because it's better.
It's no, because in the actual movie, there's still like 40 minutes left, and it's so important.
First of all, I want to point out that last tacked on 40 minutes does not need to be there.
It does. This will be our biggest.
For
rip.
example, answer me. Let's take our biases out, both me and you. That means you too. Something that you have a hard time doing, and you know that you do. Now listen, right? Now, listen, you love it. We get that. Let's remove that really quick. The movie that was advertised, right? People who went to the box office and brought their ticket, they wanted to see a mystery, right? It's about a mystery unfolding, unraveling. Yes or no? Yes or no?
Mark,
yes or no?
You know how I feel. Advertising
Simple.
the movie. The movie is the movie.
I told you, leave your biases at the door. Simple question, yes or no? You can answer no or yes. Which one?
The movie is a
yes
mystery,
or no.
But first and foremost, it is a character study, and the character study wasn't complete. That's why they had that remaining 45 minutes.
Chad. Simple question. Yes or no?
No.
Okay, then. That's all I had to say. Now, I'll say yes. But let me keep going. So, my thing is that when you sit down to watch the movie, the thick of the plot doesn't start until an hour in. The movie that you're there to watch doesn't start until an hour in.
It starts from the opening scene. What are you talking about?
No. But you have the opening scene, and then you have an hour of, I don't know what it is, of just plotting. Just a whole an hour.
The opening scene is them getting all the another pictures. It's like the killer is still out there.
Listen, we're not going to spoil it, but listen, you have the.
We're not. We do have a couple comments.
Go ahead.
Not related to Girl with Dragon Tattoo, but Snyder. Bootzilla Snyder cut. Come on. Nah, I know. I'm playing, man. I'm playing. Can't articulate. I'm part of the group that didn't like BVS. Waited for the movie for a long time and was disappointed.
I'm sorry. Can't articulate. I understand what you mean. I understand, man.
I mean, that's fair. I like, as much as I like the film, I do think it dampens off in that third act when it just becomes like a CGI porn fest.
I hate you. Be quiet, dude. I can't stand you.
I like it. I have it highly. Like, I gave it, I think, a 4 out of 5. I like it, but I also, as you said, take out the biases. Taking out the biases. The third act it's kind of a mess.
It's not. It's perfect. You're a hater.
I like the movie. I have it very high.
You hate everything, and that's just the bottom.
Yeah, but going full circle, I was the one that liked The Quiet Place, like the third one. I mean, I gave it a 3.25 out of 5.
I give it a 4, a soft 4
out of 5,
out of 10.
Oh, I mean, out of 10, I gave it like a 6.5 out of 10. I think that
I might take it down to a 3.
A 3?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I can't stress to you how bored I was, man. I wanted to leave halfway. I was like, I'm ready to go.
Oh, when are you seeing Horizon? I forgot to ask.
I wanted to see it on probably Thursday on 4th of July. But I'm not gonna lie to you. If you tell me it's boring right now, I might not go see it.
Oh, really?
Is it boring?
Well, so I haven't seen it yet. Nicola and I might be seeing it tomorrow.
If you tell me it's boring, I'm not going. I don't like being bored. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I'm just glad that we're getting a Western, like a big budget R-rated.
I agree with you, but if it's boring, I gotta be like, nah, I'm not into being bored, man. Like, it's like I want to go because I like Westerns, but if it's boring, you got a B- cinema score. Did you know that?
Did it really?
Mm-hmm. B-, and the critics don't like it either.
This could very well be a Lone Ranger situation.
What? No, because the Lone Rangers liked.
Well, but I'm pretty sure the cinema score wasn't good when it first came out and was lambasted by critics.
It was lambasted by critics. I gotta look at my phone to see. Here's my phone. I don't know where my phone is. I
mean, I'm a Lone Ranger defender.
I love Lone Ranger. I mean, Phil Minto gave out some excellent constructive criticisms on it though, which I can't ignore no more. But I love it though.
I feel like it's also just such a breath of fresh air. Like, who would have thought that in 2013 we would get a, what was it, $200 million Western that also is
That,
at the
that,
same time, like, from the perspective of someone with dementia, like,
but
just wild.
that's the problem though. It shouldn't have cost $250 million. It didn't have to.
I just got a message. So I'm looking on my phone. I just got a message from Sergey. Oh boy, because he saw Horizon tonight. Chad, get ready for the mess that's Horizon.
Ask him for me. Is it boring?
Let's see. Let me ask. I'll ask right now.
Guys, while he's texting our friend, I like to put out a question. Do you guys think that do you think that the MCU has a better chance of rebounding, or the new DCU has a chance of succeeding? Which one? You can answer that when you're done texting, Chad.
Sorry, I was looking. I saw David Pictures asked, have you seen Wavelength?
Sorry about that.
I have not. I'm looking right now on Letterboxd, and I see that there's a 1983 Wavelength and a 1967. So I'm curious which one it is that he's talking about. I'll let you know, Marv.
I haven't seen Wavelength. Just to answer his question.
I haven't either, unfortunately. If it's good though, maybe I'll add it to my watch list, and then I'll watch it as you say, Marv, in 2 years. To answer your question, Marv, so the DCU, I like James Gunn. I think is
get into it.
I think he's okay. I understand that they want to go in a different direction because Zack Snyder's films weren't exactly happy-go-lucky. They were very dour and depressing. And I get that. That's something they want to stay away from. But I also think that going the opposite direction really isn't a solution. And I feel like with him, it's going to be the opposite. It's going to be very, very light. And that's fine. I'm still going in and I'm going to check out these movies that he's doing. But I don't know. I feel like that's not really enough now because we've seen so many superhero movies. So just a light, fluffy kind of movie, I don't know. It's like it just doesn't really interest me. Like, and I see that they keep trying to hardcore advertise, like, oh my goodness, look at Superman's suit and everything. And I'm just like, can we not get any spoilers? Like, please, like, I hate that. Like, you know me. That's why I try to avoid advertisements.
Well, I have my thoughts on it, which I'm about to get into right now. But before I get into them, I want to say,
let's look at the comments though before we get.
Go ahead.
Because we have some James Gunn comments. David Pictures, both probably won't, but MC most likely because James Gunn isn't as good as Snyder. Marvel could just go back to making good movies and get fans respect again.
I understand it, but now hold on. Let me touch on David Pictures really quick, man. So, and I'll get back to your point in a second, okay? But David, I understand what you're saying, and I believe that that's the path for them. Only problem with the MCU right now is that they have to course correct, but they have to do it on the fly because they're still in motion. They haven't hit a hard stop yet. You see what I'm saying? Like I believe their path back could be with Deadpool and Wolverine. I believe that could be their way back in, right? But then I have serious questions about Captain America 4. I don't have any faith in the movie as of right now. I like the director they have on it. I like him a lot. I like the Overlord a lot. So I'm hoping, but I don't have no faith. But I really think that Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts is key for them. Those two movies have to hit.
Which one? Fantastic Four. Who's directing that?
Matt Shankman.
Is he the one that
He did. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he did episodes of WandaVision and he's done episodes of The Boys.
Oh, okay. So we'll have probably an interesting first act and then a bland second and third act. That's good to know.
I hate you. I
I'm
hate
kidding. I'm kidding. I'm playing. I am playing. um,
you are.
Bootzilla.
Go ahead.
I've got no confidence in Gunn with the Superman movie. He does weird well, but Superman isn't weird. So I hope it doesn't go in that direction. That's fair.
Let me touch on what Boots is talking about. So I think what I Grace said this comment when they revealed his suit, and I totally agree. And it was my problem with it from the jump. And what she said is something I'm echoing right now. He's too much of a fan to get it right. Like he's overcorrecting what Snyder did, and I don't think that's the solution, like you said. Uh, I think that number one, the suit looks kind of goofy. I was watching The Boys this past weekend, and I was like, "Look at Homelander's suit. That's awesome." Like I was like, "I believe that." I looked at James Gunn's Superman suit. I was like, "This looks like something I'd buy at Toys R Us." Like I was just like,
Well, let
"Go ahead,
me let me just throw in my 2 cents.
go ahead."
I've been a Superman fan since I can remember, like probably age 4 or 5.
Mm.
I absolutely hate with a passion this idea that a superhero has to be a certain way for me. I hate that ideology. I know some people feel that way towards Batman. I know some people feel that way about this and Superman. I'm a huge Superman fan. I don't really care necessarily if it's weird or if it's like goofy, or I'm just worried that it's going to be one of those things where it's not that interesting. Don't get me wrong. I like weird just as much as the next person, but I think that at the end of the day, it has to be a compelling story. And I feel like everything I'm hearing so far just doesn't really seem that compelling. It seems like they haven't really learned from their mistakes. Like, how many superheroes are going to be in that Superman movie? It's like, okay, so it's just Batman v Superman again, except it's going to be light and fun. Like, okay, I guess that's fine, but I don't know. We'll see how it is at the end of the day. I'll keep an open mind, but I
I
don't know.
mean, I want him to succeed. I don't want him to fail, but I definitely feel like he's headed for failure only because he is too much of a fan. Like I think that the fact that not only is he the writer and director of this movie, he's the Kevin Feige of the DCU, and I feel like that's a huge mistake.
It's also like daunting, I feel like, because that's so many movies to
He
oversee.
wrote these scripts. He wrote. I think he wrote. I believe. If I could be mistaken, you can look it up. I believe he wrote the Supergirl script. He wrote the Green Lantern show. They're going to start shooting. I'm like, dude. So his fingerprints are all over everything.
So he's basically the Taylor Sheridan of the DCU.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we saw what happened with Taylor Sheridan with Yellowstone. He was like, okay, in the middle of Yellowstone, he then started trying to do all these spin-off shows. And now Yellowstone might not even finish because Kevin Costner might not come back. And
But here's the deal, right?
it's a
Check it out.
mess.
Check it out, right? Let's look at how he got this job. Okay.
James Gunn?
He got this job because he got fired from Marvel because of tweets, because he doesn't know how to keep his mouth shut and just says stuff all the time. That was that problem. He just starts talking, good or bad. Like, I'm not saying that his heart is in the wrong place. He seems like a really good guy, but he talks too much. Like he shares when he shouldn't. He's always putting his mouth in something that it shouldn't be. I even saw some recently, Chad, and I don't know if you saw this, but he was criticizing Nolan. He was saying that Dark Knight trilogy isn't good. He was talking, but it was between him and his brother in like a comment section. They were talking amongst themselves, but people caught it, and I think they deleted it now. But I was like, "Yo, are you kidding me? Like that's not how you start this off." You know what
I
I mean?
feel like also filmmakers should be supportive of each other. So it's like even if you didn't necessarily vibe with the Batman trilogy, it's like
But right there, hold that thought, right? He wasn't talking about it as a filmmaker, he was talking about it as a comic book fan. You see what I'm saying? You see my point? Too much of a fan. You see what I'm saying?
and it's ludicrous because
Medium.
it's a different art form. Like
Yes,
a
right.
book and a movie are two different things. So it's
He
like
also
I'll put it to you this way: we both make movies. If I was to adapt something, I would want to add my own flavor. I wouldn't want it to be where it's like, you know what, here I'm just going to do copy and paste because that's not interesting. The person could literally just read the book then, or if I'm adapting, example, if I'm adapting from another movie, like if I'm doing a remake, I don't want to just do copy and paste. I want to make it my own thing. But I understand that then you'll have the fans that won't be happy about that. And it's just like you're never going to be able to make people happy. And it's like James Gunn just needs to
Listen, he definitely needs to like learn how to zip it, right? But I'm telling you, man, if this goes left, and it could go left, like we'll just look at each other like, "Yep, we saw this coming." And but
we'll use this stream as like, hey, this is we called it.
But I knew. Have you ever, if in Boots, if you're still watching, go look at his announcement video for the DCU. I think it was from last year, 2 years ago, when he announced what he was making and stuff like that. I remember looking at it, I'm like, what is this? It's like stuff that not only did it's like he made it all himself. Like he thought of all these things himself, and then he laid it out, and they went with it because nobody else would take the job. Like he has Paradise Island, which is a show. I don't even think Wonder Woman's in it, but it's about the Amazons. They have Booster Gold. I'm like, nobody who wants this. And guess what he did? This is his biggest sin yet, and it's a failure already. He's doing a Batman movie without Robert Pattinson, directed by Andy Muschietti.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh God! Did he not see The Flash? Let's.
By the way,
start
Mark,
that
sorry,
thing.
a couple. So we have a lot. We have a bunch of comments, and then Sergey responded.
Go ahead.
So let's see. So David Picture says, also I'm at the 60s wavelength. I just added it, 1967 film. I just added it to my watch list. Thank you, David. I'm going to try to watch that sooner than later. Can't articulate DCU has better chances than redoing famous top tier superheroes over Marvel. Less tier characters will help DCU. Yeah, I mean, my thing is, it's like I get it. Superheroes, they're kind of here to stay, and I get that.
Thank God. Chad
But
doesn't like that.
But dude, it's like I'm saying this as someone that does enjoy them. It's like if that is the sole reason people are going to the movies, like it's kind of bland. Like there's so many other different genres, and
No,
it's like the money should be going towards those genres as well. But studios are like, no, let's put 250 million towards a superhero movie instead of having a bunch of mid-budget films. And it's like for me, that's
I agree with that, but I definitely love my superheroes. I do, but you know why I'm rebelling against your thought process, because I hate the pushback that they've gotten recently, and because I feel like it's misplaced. You okay? Like I was watching The Boys this weekend, and that was my first time watching it, as you know, and I loved it. I was like, this is perfect. This is what we need. This is because I knew about that comic book like when I was in high school. And they were talking about making a movie back then. And I was like, man, that sounds awesome. I was like, will they ever get to make it? And they finally made it to a show. And it's just great. And I was like, if you watch that show, it's like the best of both worlds. You know what I mean? It's like a parody or a satire, but it's also, you could take it seriously as a comic book property.
But the thing is too, Marv, and we see this oftentimes with shows, its fourth season has been divisive because a lot of people have just now been catching on to the political satire, even though it's been there since literally the first frame of that show. And so it's just kind of like daunting where not daunting.
No.
It's more of just kind of puzzling where it's like,
I'm gonna stop you right there.
Have you watched the show? I'm
going to stop you right there. Now, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I saw that coming. I haven't even gotten to that season yet. But when this show premiered, right? The creator of the show, Eric Kripke, said like he was going hard after people who support, that side of the fence. And he like deliberately wanted to piss them off. Literally, he said that. And then the show comes out, and I haven't seen it yet, but going by what I've heard and what people have been saying, they feel offended and they're lashing out about it. But I was like, in my opinion, what do you expect if you're deliberately going after over those people?
But you would think though, Marv, that someone would watch a couple episodes of The Boys and say, "Oh, this is making fun of me. All right, well, if I can't take the joke, I'm out." Like I don't know. For me,
that's not how that works. I don't know what world are you living in.
I'm saying that a logical. I guess that's the thing. I guess I shouldn't be looking at it logically, but I'm saying that like when I watched the first episode, I was like, okay, so this is a satire of the superheroes, the political landscape. Got it. And then it just, it escalated with each upcoming episode. But that's why when I heard this season, people are like, it's making fun of politics, particularly the right. I'm like,
No, but that's what the
yeah.
creator said that out of his own mouth. He said it before the premiere. He said, "We're coming after, you know, that we're coming after you guys."
But it's
And
been
so
like that. It's been like that since the beginning, is what I'm saying.
I don't see it making fun of them. I see
You
it
don't
making
see it.
I see it making fun of politics. This season, this fourth season, which I haven't seen, so I can't speak to it as of yet. I can only go about what I've heard and what I've seen online. What I've heard is, and what I'm going about what the creator said is like a gut punch. Like he's going straight at them, and then his buddies.
I mean, Marv, not to spoil anything, because it's not really a spoiler, but I, and again, not to get political or anything, but I think it's the second season, the very end. Homelander literally says, like, I could go on like Fifth Street and like, like kill someone, no problem. And it's like, I mean, where have we heard that before? So it's like it's always been there in the show.
Yeah, but that's like subtlety though, dude. That's not.
I would say that's subtle though, because it's
But
like
how could you argue that when nobody had a problem with it before? But now,
I don't know. That's what I'm baffled by.
I just think that I don't think that he had to go there, and he's probably going to. Well, the show's about to end next season anyway, so it doesn't matter. But
Which
I
is
don't
cool.
think.
I honestly like the idea of a 5-season show. I'm cool with that. Oh, by the way, we have a couple more comments. So we have a couple more comments, and then Sergey responded. So I'll after the comments, I'll announce.
I never
that.
saw Yellowstone. Can't articulate.
Can't articulate. R.I.P. Yellowstone. Yeah, man. Dude, I got completely caught up, and I was like, oh, it's going to be coming out. I think it was like end of 2023, and here we are. It's middle of 2024, and it's like, hey, it ain't happening anytime soon. Bootzilla says, okay, Marv, I'll go look at it. Awesome. And then Siddharth Srinivasan, I apologize if I mispronounced that, said, hey, how's it going? Dude, how's it going? I feel like I've seen one of your comments before. I'm curious, what video was it that made you subscribe? Let me know in the comment section. Well, and welcome aboard, I should say.
And tell me what Sergey said.
So Sergey, this is a lot. So Sergey said about not Yellowstone, about Horizon Chapter 1. Yeah, he will be bored for sure. An older couple left 30 minutes in, which is crazy. Kevin Costner didn't even show up on screen yet, which is funny because another guy showed up 45 minutes late and stayed for the whole thing. That was probably the better time to drop into. The first act is difficult to get through. Well,
I guess I'm not going.
oh, come on. Kevin Costner literally put his house, his wife, his I think did he get bankrupt? I forget.
But I want to tell you something right now. I'm always
Give him $12.
I'm always against a vanity project, and that's exactly what this is.
Dude, I give him props for taking a swing for the fence.
It's a vanity project. That's all it is.
I see him as trying to do something unique. He is trying to.
It's a vanity project.
I don't think it is though. He's done he's done westerns before. It just been
This is a vanity project. It's a movie directed and written by him, starring him. He made it with his own money. It's a vanity.
Siddharth Sarvenson said seen Mayor of Easttown. Yes. Marv and I are both from PA. Marv's a hack that he unfortunately has not seen Mayor of Easttown. That Marv, you should watch it though. Kate Winslet.
That's my wife. I've always
Evan Peters, I should say. He's in it. They have a very specific Philly accent.
I only care about Kate, and I love her very much. And she's a goddess, and I need to look at her right now.
She is good.
But
she's probably my favorite actor.
What is it about again? The quick version?
It's basically a Mayor of Easttown is like a detective story. Like there's a girl that goes, I forget if it's missing or if she's dead, but then they basically have to solve the case in simple terms. Also, Siddharth says in regards to how he found my channel, it's the recent Tamil movie that you did in terms of like review, because I saw this movie called Maharaja, and dude, that movie was so good. Like the twist ending legit had my jaw dropped. I was like, and I had goosebumps all over. I was like, yo, it was like It was insane. Like it's easily top 4 films for me in terms of this year. Like I was genuinely surprised by that movie.
Top 4, that's heavy praise.
Dude, it's so good. And the theater was I was surprised. There wasn't that many people. There was like some people in the back, but it was such a good experience. And it's like nonlinear editing, so it's like you have to be on your toes, and it's also like fast paced. So it's like, and then the ending just the ending sets you up for one thing, and it ends up giving you another thing, and it's like, oh wow, it's so good.
But I don't think that I can make it top 4 yet. I still have a lot of movies to watch. I still have to see Fall Guy. Got to see Abigail. Got to see. I think it's called Love Lays Dying or something. I got to see Immaculate.
Oh, Love Lies Bleeding, you mean?
Yes.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna rent it on Apple TV and soon.
I'm curious if you'll like it.
It looked like. I mean, they're both hot, so I'll watch it. So
it's so well shot though. Clint Mansell did the score. It's funny. He did the score, but when I was watching, I was like, oh, Cliff Martinez definitely did the score, and it turned out to be wrong. I was like, oh, but still good.
Yeah.
Siddharth says, go to school in PA. LOL. Never really left the city after watching that. Yeah, I don't blame you. In regards to Mayor of Easttown, Bootzilla shares your sentiment. He says Kate is a goddess. But he does say, although the regimen was not good. I didn't see that. I was curious about it. But yeah, it's HBO Max show.
Have you ever seen Little Children though?
Oh, the movie, of course.
Not you, Bootzilla.
Bootzilla, answer in the comment section. Little Children's really good.
That's one of my favorite movies. Like I'll put it in top 10.
Yeah, I respect that. I rewatched it recently. Like I did a doubleheader of that and Revolutionary Road, like 2 Kate Winslet suburban dramas.
Can you give me in the audience your top 10 offhand? Not in the order, but just top 10.
My top 10, I would say American Beauty, Mulholland Drive, There Will Be Blood, Moonlight, Schindler's List, Godfather. Godfather's kind of a given. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. There's ones where I'm like, is that 2000? Your favorite 2001: A Space Odyssey? Yeah. I love that film. Silence of the Lambs. I love Silence of the Lambs. Are we at 10? I think. Am I at 10?
No, you're like 6.
I'm at 6.
6 or 7.
Jeez, A Grand Budapest Hotel. That's easily my favorite comedy. Trying to think offhand. There's like somewhere I'm like that's close to top 10, but it's not quite. I'm pretty sure I'm at 10 though.
Okay, so I'll go. So all right, so
yeah, let me get. Oh wait, before you go, Siddharth Sir Vincent says you got to watch this one called Vikram Vedha. I'm going to add that to my watch list because that's also I'm pretty sure that's I know it's Indian cinema. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's Tamil language, so I do need to watch that. And then wait 1 second, just a couple more comments. David Picture's best movie this year was Spaceman.
That movie,
to watch that.
I cried like a baby, David. I cried like a little baby. I'm not kidding.
Really, it's that good?
I don't think you'll like it at all. But I cried. I was in the house like bawling, like me and my brother. I was like, oh no. That movie, the ending is what did it. The ending ripped my soul out of my body.
Maybe I'll check it out. Bootzilla seems like he's right up your alley. Yeah, she was hot in Little Children. Jack Earl Haley was great in it.
She was ethereal in Little Children. She was every bit as godly as you can get.
You saying it needs a 4K release?
I'm saying that the red outfit that she wore in that movie, I want to come back in my next life and be that red outfit. Oh my lord!
Sir Vincent, wait, I just missed the premise. This is top 10 movies of all time. Yeah, Marv was asking like my top 10. I can actually 1 second. This is why I love having letterbox handy, because I can literally just pull it up. 1 second. Second.
Ugh.
Okay, so my top 10: American Beauty, Mulholland Drive, There Will Be Blood, Gone Girl, Schindler's List, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Grand Budapest Hotel, Godfather, Silence of the Lambs, Moonlight, and then just knocking on the door outside is Pan's Labyrinth, Social Network, and not Grand, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready for yours. What's your top 10? Hit me.
All right, out of order, I'm gonna go How to Be Single. That's obviously number one. But then we're gonna go, and I'm gonna say Mean Girls. Mean Girls is in there. Little Children. That's 3, right?
3. Yeah, I'll keep track.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna have to put The Prestige in there. That's 4, right?
Yep.
Okay, and then we got 6 more. I definitely got to go and say I can't put them in there because I don't count them all as one movie. I was gonna put the American Pie movies in there, but
Gotta pick one.
I have to pick one, right?
Just do the original, right?
I would probably pick 2 over the first one.
2. Okay, 5.
All right, so this is my let's put this in like, oh, this is the gold standard here. Okay, you ready? All right.
Everybody's watching Mark. Also, Siddharth Severinson says no older movies.
No older movies.
He's saying for you. I don't think he's saying for me, because I have 2001: Space Odyssey. I have.
So all right, but I'm glad he said that. So The Exorcist.
Okay,
that's one of my favorites. I'm trying to think of older movies. Oh, Blair Witch Project. Older movies. Hold on, I'm looking. Older movies. I got a ton. Hold on. Give me a sec.
This is why you need Letterboxd, Marv. This is why you got to use it.
Friday.
Okay. 2 more.
Really? We're at 8 already?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Baby Boy?
I already put Baby Boy, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
All right. So you still got 2 more.
I'm going to go ahead and put 25th Hour.
Okay. 25th Hour. So yeah, 1 more. 25th Hour.
You never saw 25th Hour?
No, yeah. I've seen every Spike Lee film.
And
you know that.
I'm going to go. This is so hard because the thing about my top 10, you would think it changes, but it actually really doesn't. I might have to put Children of Men there.
That's a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's a fair list.
It's different, right?
Yes, it definitely is.
Well, really think about it though. Isn't it like odd? Like it's all over the place.
But that just means you watch a lot of different genres. Like
you have horror, stoner comedy, romantic comedy. You got like dystopian.
mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It's good to have like favorites that are a wide variety. Because like imagine if all your favorites were like, I don't know, like action films. Nothing wrong with action films, but it's like doesn't have variety. Like for example, mine, American Beauty. That's comedy drama. Mulholland Drive. It's a surrealist art house film. There Will Be Blood. A sprawling epic drama. Gone Girl, mystery thriller. Schindler's List, a depressing historical drama. 2001: A Space Odyssey, an art house sci-fi film. Grand Budapest Hotel, a comedy. Godfather, a mob crime film. Silence of the Lambs, horror film that's also a thriller.
See, but now that you're talking about it, though, you just kind of got my mind going. Like, I
want Moonlight. I also got to say Moonlight.
I want to put Goodfellas in my top 10. Goodfellas. I want to put Goodfellas in there. I don't know what I'd swap.
Really?
Yeah, Goodfellas. I want to put 13 in there. Better Luck Tomorrow. Those are 3 movies I might have to put in there and swap a couple out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know which ones I do it for you though. Yeah, because when I tell you Goodfellas is a masterpiece, Hereditary is a masterpiece. Oh, Hereditary! Oh my gosh,
You legit forgot about Hereditary. I was waiting for that, but I was like, I'm not gonna say anything.
Well, no. Once I got to the top 5, and I forget who said it, but I had no old movies. That's when I started going. I went in my old movie bag.
Oh yeah, Sidharth called you out. I loved it.
Why? I mean, it's not a lot of them are in my top 25.
Marv. Bootzilla says, "Have you seen Late Night with the Devil? And if so, what you think of it?"
I have not.
Have you seen it, Marv?
No, I have not.
Dude, you should watch it. It's a horror film that's emulating like 1970s like TV. So I don't think it was shot on film. It was actually shot, I'm pretty sure, digitally, but then they added like film grain. So I liked it personally. I thought it was rock solid. But I will say, as much as I like the fact that it emulated 1970s horror films and like talk shows, I do think that it does have some issues. And there are some anomalies where it does start to feel very like 2024. I don't want to spoil anything, but in the third act, there's like something that happens, and it's very obvious that it's like CGI, and it just took me out. But it's as far as horror films go, I liked it. I would definitely recommend it. But I think I gave it a 3.75 out of 5. It's solid.
Oh, here we go. There we go.
I think there we go. I was about to say. Oh,
I think my bad. I hit something.
Oh wait. Siddharth, I didn't even read the comment. My bad. Feel like when I make lists, I'm always pressured to think from different genres. But deep down, everyone has a couple type of movies they just like the most. That's fair. We've talked about that before, Marv.
Like what? Go ahead. Let me see. Feel like
what he's saying is how when we're trying to make lists, we try to come up with like different genres, but that deep down, there's usually like one or two genres that we kind of gravitate towards. Like for you, I feel like it's like horror and romantic comedies, I would say.
That's fair. That's a fair assumption.
Yeah.
I want to say like comedy in general. It's different, and I find myself at odds with myself about this because it's such a different time now and like the movies that are being made. But I find myself missing like a lot of comedies. I really do. Like I don't know if you know this, but I guess I can share this with all of you guys.
That's the thing. You need to blame the superhero genre. I'm kidding. You don't have to, but think about it.
It's not their fault, but
it's because studios are like, hey, $250 million. We're going to use this. We're going to put it towards one movie.
That's your biasness talking. That's not them. But
all I'm saying is, when did the typical comedy start to?
It died because the cancel culture. It didn't die because of superhero.
Oh, that's balderdash, and you know that. That's a bunch of flat doodle.
Even comedy directors have said it.
What, Jude Apatow?
He's
a hack. No, I'm kidding. He's not a hack. I respect him.
I think. Listen, right? Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Zach and Mary make a porno.
Oh, not to cut you off. Jokes aside, Siddharth Sirvinson is calling you out again. I knew I liked Siddharth. Goodfellas in the list and no Godfather.
To be fair, I only saw Godfather once when I saw it with Chad, and I had never seen it, and I did like it a lot. I did, but I just love Goodfellas. I love it. I think Goodfellas is just perfect. I like Godfather. I never saw Godfather Part 2, which, from what I've heard, Godfather Part 2 is the actual best movie of all time. So that's still on my list to do.
Part 2 is
I've heard
Part 2 is amazing. It's very, very sad though, but it's excellent.
I have heard that it's the best movie of all time.
I mean, I'm not gonna if someone were to say, "Oh, Godfather Part 2 is
the best
my favorite film of all time," I wouldn't deny that, because I mean it's I think it's my number 27 or number 28 all time. Like it's up there for me. I love the film. Also, David Pictures says my top 10 personally: number 1, Revenge of the Sith; number 2, Batman v Superman; number 3, A Clockwork Orange; 4, Schindler's List; 5, A Silent Voice; 6, Intolerance; 7, Braveheart; number 8, American Psycho; 9, Metropolis; 10, 7 Samurai. Honestly, a very nice variety here. Have you seen, question mark, have you seen all of these?
I've seen the top three.
Top three.
American Psycho, and I saw Braveheart.
So I've seen all these except A Silent Voice has been on my list for a while. I do need to watch that, but Intolerance I finally saw, and
I,
that
I
movie's wild. That
I
movie
have
is wild.
have a question for David. So, David, I see that you have Revenge of the Sith as your favorite movie of all time. Does that mean you like? Do you think that Star Wars can keep going, or is it dead? I'm very curious to
Oh
hear.
boy, we're getting the nitty gritty.
I'm curious to hear David because if he has Revenge of the Sith as his top flight movie, I'm betting he's a Star Wars fan. So I need to hear from a Star Wars fan. Are they dead? Are they cooked? Or is it still hope?
Also, David Picture says it did die. To be honest, because of that, even Jerry Seinfeld said it, and he's a legend. So I genuinely, no, I genuinely want to know if David Pictures is being sarcastic or if he's
No, he's not.
no,
He
no,
never
because Jerry Seinfeld said this right after he made a movie called Unfrosted, and it was legit one of the worst movies I've seen all year. Like
I don't hear
I
this.
struggled. I was like, this dude, like everyone says, this dude is
This
funny.
is where
Like this,
Chad, no,
it's so bland. It's like,
Chad. This is your critic self talking, and I hate it. I
dude,
need
I
this.
wasn't even entertained.
Chad. I want to tell you this right now. So, what do you think of the
Have you
2000?
seen Unfrosted though?
I
Unfrosted
have
is
not.
terrible.
It doesn't.
Watch it. It's on
It does,
Netflix.
I want you to watch. I want you to answer this question. What do you feel about the 2000s comedy boom before it went cold in the 20 teens?
Um, you mean like, do I like some of the comedies from the 2000s?
I'm sure you like some of them, but what do you think of the whole lineup? Would you prefer them to the MCU and the DCU and all the superhero craze?
Um, yeah, why not? You know what? Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Why not? But think about it. I personally believe we don't really see that, not because of quote unquote cancel culture. I personally believe it's because think about it from a business perspective. Do you want $1 billion or do you want to make back 20 million, 50 million, maybe 100 million?
That is
Like,
not.
well, think about it. A lot of times the investments are
I'm
they
going
put it
to. I
they
can't
put
even.
it towards one big movie instead of like 5 to 10.
And the
Even the
person
writer of American Fiction said that, and I was like,
Well, he
yes,
did, and I was like,
I
he
agreed with him. I
he
was
should
like,
be
yeah.
giving he should be giving a project tomorrow because he said that. Because I'm about to unload on you now. Because here's the problem, okay? If you're chasing $1 billion, you only get $1 billion organically. Now, they now listen to this, right? When we started getting to the $1 billion, what movies did it? Okay, you had Titanic. Was that the first? Was Titanic the first?
I think it might have been. I
Okay.
believe it was.
Now listen to look at Titanic, right? Titanic, that's somebody's passion project. Okay. That is a movie that brought the world together. Remember, adjusted for inflation, that movie probably made $5 billion, right? Right?
Definitely made a lot.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Okay. Then you go to Return of the King. That is a masterpiece, okay, right? But then, somewhere down the line, I don't know which because we started to get a lot of them after a while. And then this is back when we were getting all different types of movies and everything was balanced, right? And everybody was happy, right? But it was somewhere along the mid 20 teens where uh a lot of movies started getting in. Like the Avengers got in. I remember that, and that's when comic movies were here to stay. Like it was not going anywhere. And Marvel kept it up. They kept on pace, they kept on track. But then people started trying to chase them, so they started trying to manufacture $1 billion, and a couple people got in. But then that's when you had this is when Disney went back into their library and started pumping out the live action remakes. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? So they didn't get those movies and make that money based off of good work. They got it off of goodwill from the original movies. You see what I'm saying?
But I get what you're saying. In some ways, I agree.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying that nowadays it's not even necessarily that the comedy has changed. It's that people don't even really get a chance to experience it in theaters. It's usually dumped on streaming.
Which
And
ones?
then these big 250 million dollar movies, those are the ones where it's like, hey, we're pushing, go see it in theaters because we have to make $1 billion to break even. So something like, what was that movie with Jennifer Lawrence? Something like that. It felt fresh. It felt like, okay, this is nice. It's a nice, fun movie. It's an R-rated raunchy comedy aimed at adults. It was nice, and they actually were gearing towards it in theaters, which was also cool. So I don't know. I mean, it's definitely an interesting subject. I should make a video about it because when I did research about it, I was like, it does have a lot of interesting things going on. Can't articulate Godfather 2 over Godfather 1. Marv will be back in a second. I think he's still figuring out StreamYard. That's fair, honestly, can't articulate. I do love Godfather Part 2. It's tough. It's like choosing your favorite kid, honestly. Sid Harth, gotta watch the trilogy for sure. Yeah,
I'm
although I
back.
will argue. There you are, Marv. You're back.
Yeah. So like I'm
Wait, we have. Sorry, just real quick. Just
Go
got a
ahead.
couple. Just so we're not getting too behind on the comments.
Shaun
Can't articulate. Godfather Part 2 is not the best movie of all time. It's clearly objectively Shaun of the Dead. I love Shaun of the Dead.
of the Dead is a great movie. You know
See,
what?
Edgar Wright, he's still making comedies. Oh, David
He
Fincher.
hasn't. He hasn't made a comedy.
No, he did Baby Driver. I would consider that like a comedy. Um, David Pictures. It was dead since Disney bought it. Sid Harth, Servanson, Star Wars best movie series that died right now. And then David Picture says, I didn't see Unfrosted, but I trust his opinion on this due to his track record prior. I would watch Unfrosted because
that's what I'm saying. That's your criticness talking. Listen, dude. Listen, it's cancel culture. That's what did it. I even read about it all the time. You couldn't make Wedding Crashers today. You couldn't make American Pie today. You couldn't make Zack and Mary make a porno today.
You can. It's just going to get dumped on streaming. But that is not, that is the audience's fault as well as the studio's fault. It's like a combined effort where it's like people do not want to get up. You even said it. We both agreed with this, where it's like people are trained where it's like, oh, I'm just going to wait until it comes to streaming.
But that's the studio's fault because they gave you the movies on streaming. They made it convenient for you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's what the studio did. But in terms of audiences want to see a movie on the biggest screen possible. If it's like, okay, Dolby experience. So like something like Deadpool, Wolverine. I want to see two people that like I love. Like I want to see them on the big screen. But it's like, oh, Paul Rudd with Seth Rogen. Like I don't want to see that. Like
I think that would do. Listen, I'm telling you this right now. Let me see. Hold on.
Oh, wait, and I have a couple more. There's a couple more comments real quick.
Go ahead.
David C. Top 3 films 2024. Mine are Challengers. Yes. Dune 2 and Young Woman in the Sea. Love the list. I still need to watch Young Woman in the Sea, but Challengers, that is my favorite film of the year. That is the film that got me into tennis. My wife and I, we play tennis a lot. In fact, tomorrow morning, we're going to be playing tennis. I love Challengers. Love that film. Can't tell you how much I love that film. It's so good. Marv, you're not going to like it, but it's a masterpiece. David Pictures, it's not one thing. It's both to some extent. They're too scared to take risks in general. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like a lot of times studios will want to do a safe risk because it's like, you know, it's a mess. Honestly, the film industry right now, it's a mess. David C. Godfather 3 is grossly underrated. Intriguing plot plus Andy Garcia is badass. Yeah, I saw part 3. I kind of felt indifferent to it, to be honest. But I definitely respect your opinion. I've heard other people share that sentiment. David C. Oh, Marv, you can chime in with this one. David C. Rank the Bad Boys films. The OG from 1995 is my favorite. Martin Lawrence is in lockstep with.
I would rank them. I'd rank them 2 number 1, 1 2, 3 number 3, and 4 4.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I think Bad Boys 1 is the OG cop movie. He's not wrong at all. But I think that Bad Boys 2 is like just pure insanity that I just can't get enough of. I could watch it right now and just have a smile on my face and watch it. I could watch it back to back right now. I could watch it 2 times in a row right now. Like it's that awesome. It's hilarious. It's action packed. I love it. It is a reason that Edgar Wright said it's the greatest cop movie of all time. Bad Boys 1 is, like he said, is just fantastic. The plot, the story, the acting, the action, the comedy is great. It is like Bad Boys 1 is like the quintessential buddy cop movie. And then Bad Boys 2 is like that movie on steroids and crack.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The second one I do kind of want to revisit at some point. But I also am gonna say this on live stream. When I watched it years ago, I did not like it. I did not like
I
it
don't
at
think
all.
that you'll like it on rewatch. It's not your cup of tea.
You never know though. Like that's the power of rewatch, man. You can rewatch something and it's like depending on where you are in life, you might like it or you might hate it more.
I
For
believe
me, I think my favorite Bad Boys.
it's
I
3.
think for me it goes 3. Yeah, because 3 I actually enjoyed it and I liked the addition of Alexander Ludwig and Vanessa Hudgens. I thought they were interesting, which is a shame that they kind of got sidelined in the fourth one.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll say 3, 2, 1, and 4. 4 I had fun with. I think that the settings were cool, but dear God, like I just some of the visual effects were so distracting. I was like, wow, this is aged like sour milk, and it's been out for what, a couple weeks. Um, yeah. So I'm just a cranky old man with that. But I respect the Bad Boys films because if we didn't get Bad Boys 1 and 2, I don't think we would get Hot Fuzz. And that's an incredible film.
Mm-hmm.
David Pictures, I need to see that one to be honest. Yeah, man. Can't Articulate says number 1, Challengers, number 2, Hitman, number 3, Furioso. I heard Long Legs is great. It comes out on the 12th. Yes, Marv and I are both excited for Long Legs.
Yes.
And I think Marv, I know you and I both loved Furioso. Did you see Hitman yet?
I did not.
You would like that. That's like a romantic comedy with some action. That's a good example. That is a movie.
The trailer.
That's a movie that feels very 2000s.
But that trailer looked like it sucks.
Oh, the trailer wasn't good.
The trailer I hate.
Oh,
yeah.
Long Legs, I'm so pumped for.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. Right? I feel like Long Legs is going to be a hit.
Maxine, remember we got that bet going on. I think Maxine's going to be a hit.
I mean, I hope it does, but I don't see it being a hit. I don't. Now, hold up. I said 15, right?
I think you said 5 million.
No, I did not. Shut up. I said
no, 15. You did. Look, I'm going to go on the text message. I literally have it copied. Let me see. Let me go to Marv.
Because if you say 5, I know it. I didn't say 5.
I'm going to save the bet on the live stream. Maxine predictions. Oh, actually, I said even more. 60 million domestic is what I said.
Ooh.
Total, meaning it throughout its entire run.
Okay.
And you said 15 million domestic total, the $5 bet.
Okay.
I see my mindset is this. I know the first 2 entries didn't do like really well at the box office, but I think that it's counter programming. It's a horror film against Despicable Me 4.
I'm going to tell you this right now. It is no way in that. There's no way, not a chance it's making $60 million. Not a chance.
I'm not saying it's opening week. I'm not
no,
crazy.
Not
I'm
a
saying like
not period. It won't make 60 million. It won't make 50.
Okay. Like I said, I'm genuinely curious to see.
You forget that I study this. Now I'll put it to you this way. I think that I might be wrong about the 15 million. I think it could probably make 20. But it's not making that. It's not making that, dude.
We shall see. I'm excited. I'm actually seeing.
I'm always right. I'm always right about box office. You never believe me. Ever.
Bootzilla said, "Oh wait, I missed the comment. My bad." David C. Oh, David C. seems like right up your alley in regards to this opinion. Worst film of 2024 so far. Mine is Godzilla X King. Absolute dumpster fire.
It was absolutely atrocious.
I'm planning to. I have a hold on that at my local library, like the Blu-ray. So I'm planning to watch it soon. My worst film that I've seen this year, and Marv, you and I, we talked about this because you were like, "Why are you seeing that?" Well, let's see. Let's see if you know what my worst movie of the year so far is.
Oh, Madam Web.
No. Believe it or not, it was another movie where you said, "Dude, even the trailer was terrible." It's with Mickey Rourke. Plays the devil.
Oh, let's not even talk about it. I don't want to waste breath on that nonsense.
Not another church movie. That's the worst movie I've seen this year. I was a different man after watching that movie. Like I legit was like, what did I do to myself? Like why? Like Argyle I thought was terrible. And Madam Web I also thought was terrible. And
Argyle was awesome.
oh no, that's hogwash. Argyle, dude, I felt like I had a stroke after watching Argyle. Like I was dumbfounded. That hockey scene, I legit was like looking around. Like I was like,
I love that movie. I took my niece to go see it, and we both had a great time.
Dude. I mean, that's your opinion. You're entitled to it, but that's like,
loved it. I loved it. It was one of those movies. Like I told you, it's like back to the 2000s, where it's just a movie. It was just a fun time at the movies. I loved it. We had popcorn, we had burgers. We went to a dining theater, and it was crowded, and everybody had a good time with it. I loved it.
Yeah, I had a good time having a stroke.
I'll put that'll be my best movies of the year.
Bootzilla, love Bad Boys 2, Bay went all out. One is still the best though. All right, fair. Yeah. Andrew Lay is great. He is from, if I'm not mistaken, like New Zealand. Hey y'all, what's going on? Dude, doing a live stream. This is one of my best friends, Marv. We've always wanted to do this, and I finally just threw out the idea. I was like, dude, Marv, you should come on my live stream. And he was like, all right. So we're doing it now, just talking movies. We both love movies. He's made a couple of short films. I'm trying to push him to make a third one this year. We're still waiting for the scripts, Marv, by the way.
Hey, I sent you what I had so far. You said you liked it.
Oh, don't lie to the audience. I'm waiting for it. I said you gave me the premise. I like the premise, but I'm like, more. You're usually the producer of my films, but I'm the producer of yours. I'm like, bro, come on.
You sound like the studio, man.
Yeah, but I'll greenlight it, dude. I'll greenlight anything. I'll give you a blank check. I'm like, here, Marv, make it. David C. Kind of Kindness chapters ranked. Mine is 3, 1, 2. Oh, okay. So that's okay. That's fair. Mine is 1, 2, 3. I loved with the passion. First one, loved it. The second one, the third one kind of lost me. It felt like almost a repeat of the first chapter. Marv, I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on Kinds of Kindness.
I don't think I'm going to go see it now.
Oh, support Yorgos Lanthimos, you hack.
Oh, okay. You can do it for me. Watch it 2 more times.
I did. I saw it. Nicolette hated it. I don't think you would like it, but I still say give it a whirl.
Mia Goth is so beautiful, and I have to go see Maxine to go look at her. That's how I feel.
Can't articulate. I hope Maxine is
shout
good.
out to Shia LaBeouf for locking her down.
Oh my goodness. I can't articulate. I agree with you. I think she's a great actress.
You don't think she's pretty?
No, I do. But I think her acting is like first and foremost, like what I look like. She is great. Like I think my favorite performance of her was probably Infinity Pool. She was, or A Cure for Wellness, like one of those two. Like she's just so good in those films. But she's also great in Pearl and X.
I fell in love with her.
David Pictures is on the same page. Worst film was Argyle this year, to be honest.
David, you're a traitor.
I will say, I agree with you.
A Cure for Wellness is where I fell in love with her because that movie's awful. But
I love it. I love it.
She was great to look at in that movie.
Bootzilla is falling out of good grace.
Roadhouse. Boots, are you kidding me?
No. Bootzilla, it's up there for me. I do not like Roadhouse. Was terrible. That was really bad. Like really bad.
My nose is about to start bleeding because of you too. Roadhouse was awesome.
Marv, I watched Roadhouse.
I watched it 3 times in a row.
You watched that 3 times?
In a row.
Dude, I watched Roadhouse, the remake with Jeff Hartman and what's his name? Jeff's like family. We all hated it. And like some of them were fans of the original, some hadn't seen and like the original and didn't know anything about it. And like we all agreed. And then we put on the original and it was like, how in God's green earth did this remake make the original seem actually good as opposed to
but
just
but
serviceable.
I still don't see the problem with it. I really don't. It's just a fun B movie.
The problem is, Marv, the biggest thing, and this is the biggest issue in a nutshell, and I'm sure Bootzilla would agree with this. So if you're to set up in terms of a story, if you're to set up that, hey, this Roadhouse, we desperately need someone, like, holy cow, you don't have it where the opening scene of said Roadhouse is like completely empty. You have it be where the original Roadhouse, where you see the Roadhouse and the visual storytelling showcases overcrowded, overly rowdy bunch of people fighting, violence, just bottles getting thrown at each other. That is how you set up a story, because it's like you don't even have to say anything. We get it. We put two and two together that this is a Roadhouse. It needs someone to just fix it up. You don't get that with the remake. You don't, and that's like right away a huge issue with the remake. Like a huge issue.
No,
Um,
wasn't. No.
Also, the visual effects, the cinematography, I understand what they were trying to do with those fight scenes, but like, dear God, was that like painful to watch?
No, it was not. That movie's great. I loved it. I love
I
Jake.
agree with I agree with Bootzilla.
I love Jake in that movie. I really fell in love with Daniela Melchior. I think that's her name. Fell in love with her in that movie.
Oh
She's
yeah, I feel like I've seen her in something else. Oh, Can't Articulate, Driveway Dolls, worst movie I've seen this year. I haven't seen that whoever any other of y'all mentioned.
that
So
wasn't.
Driveway Dolls, I'm not gonna lie, I Can't Articulate. I enjoyed, but I also understand why you would feel that way. I don't know. I thought the humor was kind of up my alley, but it's one of those films where I enjoyed it in the moment, but I haven't really thought about it until.
I wanna ask the audience a question, and I want you to answer too.
Oh yeah,
But I was in the middle of asking it, but we got caught up in the comments for a second.
oh yeah.
But I asked this. I was trying to ask this like a half hour ago. But you just mentioned something that made me trigger that I was trying to ask it. But what if I told you, right? And I want your thoughts on this. And I want everybody to comment seriously. What if I told you that I think Forgetting Sarah Marshall is one of the best screenplays of all time?
I would need to hear more information to back up that opinion.
When it
That's
when
what
it,
I would say.
when information.
Well, basically, as to why you feel that way. I'm curious. Like, I think it was a solid screenplay, but
Well, okay. So all right. So I think that like that movie. I was watching it recently. I was like, man, the writing in this movie is so good. It like from the structure, the setup, the the beats, the plot beats. It's perfect. The story is rock solid. It's more than rock solid. Everything. I just love like the little nuances in there, especially the ending. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it, but if you have, I love to hear everybody's thoughts. Like, just I mean, all the movie's great too, but also just the writing in it. Like, the humor is a big part of that too. But like the character development, the the it's like a drama with all the characters, especially I guess especially with two of them in there. And I remember watching, I was like, man, this movie's really like it's deep, but it's like it's not like up front. Like it's one of those movies that like if you've been through that, it kind of like hits you a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Um, I really think that the guy Nicholas Staller, that's the writer director for that movie. If you guys didn't know, I feel like he's a guy that you should pay more attention to. All of you, I think that he's great, but he hasn't really caught on yet because maybe his project selection. His last movie was the movie Bros. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Oh yeah, I liked Bros quite a bit.
He wrote and directed that.
That was a
But
comedy.
well,
I
no,
liked that one. That was good.
it was, but I feel like he's been stuck in the comedy genre. And he's had a couple misses, a couple hits, but I think that he's so good, man. I think that like I would love to see him tackle something that can get him on the map because he's been great. I actually recommend everybody go rewatch his filmography.
Yeah. Oh, David C. Oh, this one's gonna be fun. David C. Rank the Craig Bonds. Mine is Skyfall, Casino Royale, No Time to Die, Quantum of Solace, and Spectre's by far the worst, in my opinion.
Uh,
So
I like his list.
my,
I think
I don't know about you, Mar, but mine's pretty much the same, except I would switch out Spectre for Quantum of Solace because I can uh,
I, I,
actually.
I'll give you that.
I don't know. That's tough though because Spectre is one of the biggest disappointments
It
in my
was.
life.
It was.
That was, dude. I was so depressed after watching that. I was like,
But I think Quantum of Solace just sucks. No, not Quantum of
it's
Solace.
not good.
No Time to Die just sucks.
No Time to Die, I think, is
It
okay to
sucks.
solid. I wanted to love it, but
That movie sucks. That movie sucks.
Skyfall's great though. That's a masterpiece, and
Skyfall's
I
great.
think Casino Royale is also amazing. That's a great film as
Oh
well.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, I love Casino Royale. I remember we first watched that movie years ago. I first saw it in like '07, and I was like, man, I not actually, to be honest with you, I've never liked James Bond before those movies. So I'm interested to see what I think of the next iteration because I don't care anything about the ones before that one. I didn't care about none of them. I mean, none.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I don't
Oh,
care.
also,
But
David C asks, so we have a bunch more comments. Wait, I'll get to that in just a second. David C asks, favorite movie snack. Marv, I'll let you
popcorn,
take this first. Popcorn? Just popcorn or
fruit snacks,
fruit snacks? Oh, okay.
and a Coca-Cola.
I like it. So for me, Marv, of course you know this because you're one of my best friends. But to everyone else, I have a bunch of like food allergies, so there's a lot of stuff that I can't eat. So
That must suck.
oh but that's why I love going to the movies because even though I can't eat popcorn anymore, popcorn was my go-to.
Hmm.
So now what I do is not all the time, but what I try to do is I try to get it's called Talili water lily pops. Basically, it's made to emulate popcorn, but it's made from water lilies. So I'll have that, and then I combine that with dark chocolate covered coffee beans. So it's dairy free, it's vegan, combined with water lily pops, and I'll have that. So it's pretty. So the dark chocolate coffee, it's pretty much it's. I guess it's trying to emulate like Goobers, if you will, and Goobers. That was also my jam back in the day. So basically, water lily pops and dark chocolate covered coffee beans.
I can get with that.
It's good. It's good. I have actually. Nicolette actually got me that for what's it called for my birthday. So I haven't opened it up yet. I'm waiting for the right movie, maybe Long Legs or maybe the third Deadpool movie. Oh, this is a good question. David C. Would you ever do a De Palma ranking? Huge fan of Casualties of War.
I've never seen his movies.
You haven't seen any of his films?
I saw Scarface and Carrie,
Okay, so you've seen some of it.
but
He also did the first Mission Impossible.
yeah, I never saw that one.
Oh wow. So to answer your question, David C. That's one of those directors where I have his ranking list on private, and I have it where it's like I'm gonna try to watch his films, but he's done so many that it's like kind of overwhelming. So that's one of those projects where it's like it's kind of off to the side where it's like, all right, I'll try to watch his films over time, but I wouldn't expect it in the next couple of years. I would say more like 5-6 years if I'm being realistic. But I do like him. Blowout, I love. David C. Favorite Ridley Scott film. Mine is Kingdom of Heaven director's cut. What's yours? C. Marv director's cut. You got to watch that. The director's cut.
I have it. I told you I have it.
I thought you said you watched the theatrical cut.
No, I said that
Wow.
the theatrical cut was a favorite in my household. My mom used to watch it every weekend.
Oh yeah. You said that she hasn't seen the director's cut, right?
I don't believe she has. No, I own the director's cut.
You got to show it to her. Director's cut. I can respect that, David. My favorite. I'll ask you, Mark, yours in a second. I think mine's probably Blade Runner. I love Blade Runner. What about yours, Marv?
He has so many. I love Alien. Um, but
Alien's great.
I also love American Gangster too.
That's great. And doesn't get talked about that much.
American Gangster.
Yeah, I
And
don't really hear people talk about it, but I love American Gangsters.
people love it in my circles. But he also like did a movie called Body of Lies that was forgotten about. That's actually a favorite of mine. So I could,
Really?
yeah, yeah. I used to watch. I saw it when I was like 16, and it has Leonardo DiCaprio, um,
Yes.
and Russell Crowe, and like I want to say Alien, but I feel like that's kind of like the go-to answer. So I'll put Body of Lies.
What about Gladiator?
I don't really care for Gladiator.
Oh my goodness, Marv, I'm leaving the group chat now. No, I'm kidding. Ah, you don't like Gladiator?
I just don't care for it too much. I watched it a lot when I was 8 years old. My mom used to watch it a lot. She loved that movie. These are the movies that my mom and dad had on rotation nonstop. It was Gladiator, Kingdom of Heaven, Pearl Harbor, and something else.
Okay.
What else? Troy. I love Troy. Um, and some other stuff, but those movies were always in rotation. Kingdom of Heaven, Gladiator, and Pearl Harbor, always in rotation. Or watch all the time. Every Saturday I woke up, one of those was on.
Holy cow! So you probably got tired of them real fast. I feel like.
I definitely got tired of Gladiator. I never got tired of Kingdom of Heaven.
look. I love Gladiator, but if I watched it once a week, I probably wouldn't like it too.
I always just watch Kingdom of Heaven like, I wonder why my mom loves it so much. Like,
Oh, I love this comment from Andrew Lay. The briefcase and driveway dolls could be the same one in Pulp Fiction. LOL.
that's also one of the best movies of all time.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, that's one of the best movies of all time. Sorry
I
about
do. I do love Pulp Fiction.
But I think my favorite Tarantino movie would have to be Django and Hateful Eight. Those are my two favorites.
I'm the sheriff of Red Rock. Yeah, I like Tarantino.
I wish that we knew each other then because that was one heck of an experience. I went to the road show that they did.
Oh, I did for Hateful Eight. I did that too at Neshaminy.
You did? I did it the day after
Yeah,
Christmas.
I still have the booklet still that
I
they
had the
gave
book,
out.
but my mom threw it away by accident. Yeah.
Oh, by the way, David C. Forgetting Sarah Marsha equals it's good, but Jason Segel's character is whiny and annoying.
But David, that's the point though, right? When you're going through a hard breakup like that, that's how you act. That's why it's so perfect. Chad, tell David. When I went through my breakup, did not look exactly like uh, Jason Segel's character.
I mean, I wouldn't say exactly, but
I was definitely a whiny little.
I would definitely say the friends in that movie were definitely us, where we were like, bro, we want to try to help
But
you.
that's why it's so perfect because that's what it's like when you go into a breakup and it's out of you feel like from your POV, it's out of left field. Only when you get down the line you realize that you
I
should have
feel like
thought.
to be honest with you, Marv, I would say your situation was more like Midsummer, almost. And
What?
by that I mean that the relationship, it had its issues and everything, but it's like one of those things where there was a lot of things that kind of got left unsaid, but then over the course of time, it got worse and worse, and then by the end, you were, you know, able to have that cathartic feeling, like with the ending of Midsummer. I would
Well,
say that
I,
would be
I never got that. I don't think she ever got that.
well, but in this case, I feel like you were Florence Pugh's character, where it's like you had like a family of friends, like all of us, where it's like you were able to say like, hey, I found my people that are here to no matter what.
See, I would know if we're talking Midsummer, she would be Florence Pugh. I would be the guy in that particular.
No, you were not the guy. That's no.
I'm
Now
telling
you're just
I'm being serious.
you were not the guy. No,
I was the guy in that predicament.
no, you were not.
If you ever met her, you would know that she was exactly like Danny in that movie. That's exactly how she acted.
No.
But back to
David
David's back
David
to
Fincher's best James Bond is Doctor No.
I'm not watching it.
You ever? Oh, I've seen Doctor No.
I'm not watching it. I told
Well,
you.
Andrew Late knew Todd.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
He's right there with you. Can't articulate Gladiator at David C. Oh yeah, in regards to his favorite. And then Andrew Lay says The Martian is his favorite Ridley Scott film. As well as he says, can't wait for Gladiator 2. Want to see Paul Mescal in a toga. And I'm going to say right there, Andrew, I 100% agree with you. So I was nervous for Gladiator 2, but I'm pretty excited now because I've seen 2 Paul Mescal films, and both of them have brought me to tears. So I'm hoping that this third film will also bring me to tears. After Sun and All of Us Strangers, both films brought me to tears. Both have them in them. Great films. I'm excited for Gladiator 2. And Denzel Washington's in it.
He is?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And I think Pedro Pascal, I think, is also in it. They have a pretty good cast, honestly.
Okay.
So I'm definitely keeping an open mind. It's not going to do well financially, but I'm excited. Can't articulate Tarantino best director ever. It's fair. He did direct Death Proof, though.
That's a great movie.
Oh, that's my least favorite Tarantino film.
It would be. You hate everything.
I do not hate everything.
The thing
I
is,
like all of Tarantino's other films.
you don't know how to just sit back and just take a movie for what it is. That movie is a B movie. It's a grindhouse B
I
movie.
know that.
So just enjoy it for what it is.
I tried to. I just didn't. It didn't really resonate.
One reason why, just one. I can't wait to hear this.
It's forgettable.
No,
I don't remember a single thing about it. I legit don't.
I do.
I saw it. I saw it at Rockcliffe Cinema.
I remember the car crashing to the other car and the tire ripping off Jungle Julia's face. I remember Kurt Russell getting his hiney handed to him by 3 girls. I remember Zoe Bell, the stunt woman, on the hood of the car.
But you've seen the film, I'm assuming, like many times, right?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
Oh,
I haven't seen it in a long time. But it's still a great movie. I think that if a movie's just set on being fun, you hate it.
And that's fine. Tarantino thrives.
Hold up. So am I right?
If a film is going for just being fun, which a lot of Tarantino films do, that's fine. But I'm saying, like, I've seen all of Tarantino's other films, and with what they were going for, I think it achieved it. I just didn't have fun watching.
Did you like Django?
Yeah, I love Django. That used to be my favorite of his. Now it's Pulp Fiction, but at the time of my ranking, I had Django as my number.
You like Kill Bill?
I hated. So here's this. I hated Kill Bill Volume 1 the first 2 times I saw it. I saw it a third time in January, and I loved it. I really liked it. But that's what I'm saying. Like, that's character development. It went from, like, I think the first time I saw it, I gave it like a 1.5 out of 5.
This is a random question.
What?
This is a random question. So, why did it get a 1 out of 5?
A 1.5 out of 5? So when I saw it, keep in mind, when I first saw it, it was like a decade ago. Mm-hmm. I like legit was just like, okay, this girl's going around killing people. Big whoop-de-doo, like whatever. And then I watched it a second time, and I was like, I mean, I like it slightly better, but yeah. Then when I watched it a third time, I was like, I'm vibing with this. I like this a lot. Like, this is really good. And the second one, I'm not gonna lie, I've always liked, but I've always been under the decision of like, I like the second more than the first. But now I'm like, no, I like the first more than the second. So I came around to it, but I haven't had that feeling of Death Proof where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sit back, I'm going to rewatch it. I haven't. And even Nicolette's a huge Tarantino fan. She hasn't once been like, yeah, I want to rewatch it. So I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm not going out of my way.
Okay.
But his other stuff like Hateful Eight and Django Unchained, like we rewatch a lot. Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards. I think the only one we haven't watched together was Jackie Brown because we've both seen it once. But I do want to rewatch that because I feel like I might appreciate it more.
Okay.
David C has a lot of questions. Well, the first one is a statement. David C. Body of Lies is super underrated. Loved Mark Strong as president of Jordan.
I 1,000% agree.
I love Mark Strong. This is a good one. David C. also says, "What's your least favorite Tom Hanks film?" Mine is The Terminal. I have an answer right away, but Marv, I want you to answer first.
Forrest Gump.
Force it. Oh, okay. Okay.
We don't support thoughts on this channel.
You think you might get some hate mail. Mine's not for. I don't like Forrest Gump, but it I think his performance is good.
We
Mine
do not
has to be.
support Jenny on this channel.
I'm not. We're talking about Tom Hanks here. We're not saying Robin Wright's films. So for me, hands down, Tom Hanks, my least favorite performance, least favorite Tom Hanks film is Robert Zemeckis' Pinocchio. I hated that movie. I did not like his performance. And I think that's the first time I've actually said that where I'm like, yo, I did not like Tom Hanks' performance. This was like not good at all. What was he doing? Did not like that. Yeah, avoid at all costs. Watch Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. That's the great one. David C. also asks, favorite Denis Villeneuve film? Mine is Sicario. Marv, take it away. And David also, Sicario, fantastic film.
I'm gonna go with Arrival.
Arrival? Okay. I like that choice.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's Prisoners.
I was gonna say that one, but Arrival is next level for me.
I mean, Arrival's amazing.
Yeah,
That movie, I needed that when that came out. That was like, 'cause I was feeling so depressed about cinema in 2016. But then Arrival came out, and I was like, yo, I'm all in again. Like, holy cow. I think I cried the last time I saw Arrival. Like, that movie is so emotional. It's so good. Andrew Lay says, Inglorious Bastards has been my top Tarantino for a long time, but Once Upon a Hollywood just topped it recently after rewatch. I love it. See what Andrew just said? That's what I'm talking about, Marv. The power of rewatch. Rewatching something can make you love a film more, can make you feel the same, can make you like it less. All depends on where you're at in life. I love that though. I'm happy for you, Andrew. I'm very happy for you. David C says De Palma also did Carlito's Way, epic final shootout at the train station. Marv, did you see? Oh, Marv is out. I guess he didn't. So I saw Carlito's Way. I thought it was okay. Maybe I need to rewatch it. Can't Articulate says Prisoners. Love that choice. I love Prisoners. Also, ironically, Prisoners takes place in Pennsylvania, so it's kind of fitting. David Picture says Arrival. Great choice. Arrival's fantastic. Blade Runner 2049 might be my number 2, though. Andrew Lay says, I liked The Terminal, but I saw it before a flight some time ago. My connecting flight was canceled while I was in transit suddenly. That's so fun. Oh, man. That's too funny. I love that story. Like, I love the background of that. Yeah, I liked The Terminal enough, but I'm not gonna lie. I think I saw it once, and it was like a decade ago, and I haven't had the urge to watch it like since. It's really been one of those movies where I'm like, I have zero urge to rewatch. It's one of those Spielberg films where it's competently crafted for sure, but I don't really see any rewatchability value. It's not like something like Catch Me If You Can, which I think came out the same year. I want to say it did. No, actually, I don't think it did. I think it came out a couple years after, but same sense of time. And I think that's something where like I would rewatch like more so over that. David C asks least favorite Scorsese. Mine is Bringing Out the Dead. Oh, that's a hot take. So for me, I have a ranking of his filmography, but I can't really. Let me look it up because I don't want to give. I don't want to give false information. I forget off the top of my head what my least favorite Scorsese film was. But I will say this as a heads up: my least favorite is probably something that's kind of obscure, because most of Scorsese's films I like quite a bit, at least to some extent. Like even his recent stuff, I know some people are like, "Oh, his movies have kind of gone downhill." I don't really believe in that sentiment, to be honest. I think that it's interesting to see him kind of look, like look back at other films that he's done almost and kind of reflects. All right, so I'm looking at Scorsese. So my least favorite Scorsese film is New York, New York, which is a 2 hour and 43-minute movie. Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that one. And then Who's That Knocking at My Door was number second. Although I will say, it looks like I do have Bringing Out the Dead towards the bottom, but I have it as like a 3.5 out of 5. So I still enjoy it to some extent. David Picture says Killers of the Flower Moon. Oh, that's a shame that you didn't like it. I love Killers of the Flower Moon. I really do. That was such a great theater experience, and I'm fingers crossed hoping that gets a physical media release. Um, Andrew Villeneuve is my favorite director around today. Rivals the top for me. I love that choice. Yeah, no, he is a great director. I like that we have two directors, him and Nolan, that work within the studio system and actually give us some genuinely great films. Truly, truly great. Andrew Lane Incendies is great too, but the most traumatized movie I've ever watched. See, that's why I need to rewatch it because I remember thinking it was good, but I don't really remember much about it, to be honest. I feel like it's similar to The Secret in Their Eyes. That was a film that I saw like I want to say 8 years ago. I remember thinking it was good, but I didn't really remember much about it. And I rewatched it recently, and I forgot about the twist ending. And then when I saw it, I was like, "Holy cow, that was amazing!" And now it's embedded in my memory. So maybe that will be the same case with Incendies, where I rewatch it and it kind of sticks for me. But I remember liking it. David Pictures, Who's Knocking at My Door is good, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, I think I gave it. I'm pretty sure I gave it like either a 3 out of 5 or 3.5. Like, I remember thinking it was all right. I didn't really have any issues necessarily. David C. Will you ever do a Michael Mann ranking? He's only done like 12 films. Underrated equals Black Hat with Chris Hemsworth. So yeah, Michael Mann was actually one of my first directors that I did. If you go to my director ranking lists, like playlist, I have 100 directors that I've done rankings for. Now, to be fair, I think it's like 15, 15 of those videos are private because they're set up for future dates. But yeah, I did Michael Mann. I liked him. I like him a lot. Like he's a good director. But I haven't done in regards to Ferrari. I haven't put that really in the ranking because the Michael Mann ranking video was from like 5 years ago. So I think it was before I even like with my videos did like pictures and like numbers so that way people could follow along like more smoothly. Um Karen Chick like Casino for me. Oh, that's a shame you didn't like Casino. Although I will say Casino, I remember thinking it was like solidish the first time I saw it, and then I rewatched it, and I actually liked it more. It's good. I think it's good at least, but I get it if that's your least favorite. It's a good movie though. David C. That bus scene and he's just seared in my brain, unfortunately. Polytechnique is also a rough watch, but great. Yeah, so Polytechnique, all I really remember is that it was a school shooting movie, and I remember thinking it was solid, but the bus scene I really don't remember. Let me actually look on Letterboxd when I saw Incendies because I know it was a long time ago. Let me see. So just so you can see, like, oh yeah, this is why he's not really remembering it. So it was a long time ago. Okay, so August of 2017, it looks like was when I last saw Incendies. And I will say this, I'm not gonna lie. Let me actually go to my email box. So I saw Incendies in 2017, but I'm looking at my library record, and it looks like in late September, early October of 2020, I got out the Blu-ray in my local library, and I think I might have gotten like 10 minutes into it, and I just was like, nah, I'm not really feeling like a super serious movie. So I think I just returned it to the library, and I just never rewatched it. So I might get the Blu-ray out from the library so that way I can actually, give it a shot again. Let me see. What happened to Marv? That is the question of the day. Let me actually text him, see if he's coming back. Second. Sorry, I'm just texting him real quick. Are you coming back on? His service right now, to be fair, his service isn't the best right now, so I get it. But he's great. Like I said, we've been friends for like 6 years. It's funny how we actually met, Marv and I. We met through ironically, we both were at the movie theater for a movie called Slender Man. And the theater, this was again 6 7 years ago. So this was back in a time when you went to the theater, it actually showed the movie title at each theater that each theater particularly that you were at. So like for example, theater 17, theater 18, it would actually show the movie and then the time. So Marv and I both went up to the theater that we were supposed to be at for Slender Man, and it wasn't showing it. It was showing like a different name and a different like time. So we were both like confused, and he was like, "Oh, are you seeing Slender Man?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's weird though. It's not showing up." He's like, "Yeah, yeah." And then we just started talking, and we were talking. We got along so much well that we ended up sitting together, watched Slender Man. Both were like, could have been better. And started texting each other, and then here we are. He was actually my wedding party. He's a great guy. And I've been trying to push him to, get on YouTube and whatnot. Um that's a little bit of background. Can't articulate what director would you like to see with another masterpiece? I'm thinking of Spielberg. Yeah, Spielberg, I want to see that Bullet remake that he's doing. I want to see it, and I want to see it not only be good. I say good because it's Spielberg. He doesn't really make bad movies, if I'm being honest, at least from what I've seen. Um, I want to see that though. I want to see someone that is. I think he's almost 80. I want to see that. Like I love that we have these old directors that are still firing on all cylinders. Like George Miller with Furiosa, Mad Max Fury, Scorsese, Kills of the Flower Moon, Irishman, Silence, like just the sheer audacity of these filmmakers. I want to see that. Angel, I heard Spielberg is cooking some good sci-fi. Dude, I think he's gonna work until he dies. Like he just keeps on going, and I really respect him. Like honestly, for that because he loves cinema so much, and he's so good at it. Like he really is. I know some people don't like some of his other films, and that's fine, but he's so good. He's very talented. So I texted Marv, just waiting for a response to see what the situation is. Probably won't respond because I know he did say around like we're both Eastern time, so I do know that he did tell me that hey, probably around 12 o'clock, like midnight, that I probably will be busy. I mean, not busy, but like I won't be able to continue. So I get that. Andrew Lay. I can't wait for Scorsese's new adaptation of Price and Sinatra 2. Yeah, I'm excited for those too. I want to see what he's going to be able to add to that because he tackled Christ before. I mean, Last Temptation of Christ is one of my all-time favorites. So I'm curious about that. Can't articulate Francis Ford. My apologies. Francis Coppola said that he has like 20 years to go still. I'm surprised by that. I really am, because he's like, isn't he like 80 something? And Megalopolis, like, no offense to him, like as a filmmaker, but it's like if that movie flops, like I don't think that he will direct again. I really don't. I don't think any company will then want to finance another one of his movies. That's one of the reasons why he's been doing like these super low budget films like the last 10, 15 years, because nobody's willing to put up the money for him. And on top of that, I think he sold a lot of his stocks in his wine industry. So that, I mean, his wine blueprint, I should say. And because he did that, I'm just like, I don't think he's going to sell off all of his stocks, right? Like if he wants to do another movie, like I don't know. I just don't personally see him making another movie, but I could be wrong. I'm actually going through Francis Ford Coppola's films right now. Everyone, Andrew Lace says everyone should be like Boone and Lanthimos, though. Those guys are workaholics. Yeah, they really are. Lanthimos, it's funny because I wanted to rank his filmography after Poor Things, like after that came out. But then I heard Kinds of Kindness was coming out, and I was like, okay, so I'll watch Kinds of Kindness and then I'll rank his films. Well, now that Kinds of Kindness came out, all of a sudden he already now has another film coming out November of 2025. And I'm so caught up with my director ranking lists that I have all the videos set up until October of 2025. So I'm like, okay, do I watch this his next film in 2025 and then just immediately rank his films that month? I'm looking at that, but we'll see. It really just depends on how much more busy it is. But I agree. He's constantly working. It's kind of insane. But I do like them both. So Marv did not text back. I do not think he will be coming back if I had to take a guess, unfortunately. Excuse me. But yeah, since he's not coming back, think what I'll do. I'll start to wrap up. Before wrapping up, though, I just wanted to say, guys, that I really appreciate all of your guys' support. I recently got monetized, and oh wait, Marv just responded. Oh, actually no, Marv's coming back on. So okay, this makes sense. Marv said, "I'm sorry, the power went out because of the storm." Clicking on the link right now. Okay, that makes sense too, because literally right before we got on the live stream, it was like thundering and lightning, like you could hear downpour. So that makes sense. I'm glad he told me that, because I was about to say, "Oh yeah, guys, we're about like I'll leave in 5-10 minutes." But if he's coming back on, that's awesome, because he's great to have on here. Let me see. Uh-oh, things having issues. Oh, I gotta walk him through the steps. 1 second. Oh, two, like everyone's. Told him everyone's waiting for him. Can't articulate. I wish there was rain. It's hot over here. Dude, yeah, East Coast. I don't know where you're at. I can't articulate, but East Coast, it was like very, very hot, but it kind of cooled off this week, which is nice. Like at my job, I was able to go outside on my lunch break, and I was able to do some walking, and it was nice. It was genuinely nice. But the week before that, I wouldn't have been able to do it because it was like 96, 97. Like I went to a Phillies game, and I think it was like 98 degrees. It was insanity. Let me look to see what Mark's saying now. Yeah, because he still has the link. He's having issues though, like getting into it. But like I said, I'm gonna try to troubleshoot this. I do love StreamYard though. I don't know if anyone else in the chat has used it before, but definitely recommend it. Like I think it's so cool that you can, like right here you can add people's comments. So then that way if someone comes back to rewatch the stream or watch it for the first time, instead of just hearing me say like, "Oh, this person said this," it's like you can now visually see like, "Oh yeah, can't articulate said I wish there was rain. It's hot over here." I don't know. I think it's nice. Personally, think it's really nice. Let's see. So Marv said just seen it. Okay. So Marv just saw the message. I'm trying. It just keeps freezing. Huh. It's weird. Is it the same link? Yeah, it's still the same link. Oh. Can't articulate. Yeah, I still need to watch more Yoga's films. I only seen Poor Things. Oh my goodness, it is so funny that you mentioned Poor Things because no joke, before coming on to this live stream, my one friend loves to see if I can tell what film it is based on just one screenshot. And he sent me a screenshot and I was like, that's from Poor Things. So I immediately said, I was like, yeah, that's my second favorite film of 2023. Poor Things. And he was like, yo, you guessed it correct. I was like, yeah, man, like I love that film. Like, it has a very distinct look to it. And that scene, the brain scene, it's like there's not too many films that have that. Sorry, I'm texting Mark back. Should I send the link again? Excuse me. Excuse me. Andrew Lay says, meanwhile, it's always raining here in Z during winter. Feels like Ryan Gosling in the Notebook all the time. Oh my goodness, that's too funny. See that's got us think in regards to it constantly raining, because I'm sure there's a lot of power outages, and just always having you know mud tracked through the house, especially if I don't know if you have any animals, but or pets, I should say, but that also just mud tracks through the house. That's got to be frustrating. Can't articulate. You doing another Criterion Hall for July? I finally got my first ever movie from them. I had to secure that Mulholland Drive. So to answer both questions, I first want to say, dude, I am so glad that you got your first ever Criterion, and what better Criterion to start your collection with than Mulholland Drive? I love that, and I want to actually hear if there's any other movies that you'll be adding to your collection from Criterion. To answer your question, yes, I am planning to do another Criterion Hall with my friend Sergey from Skynet Gym. I think it's the last 2-3 years we've done Criterion Halls together, and we're planning to do it. I want to say we're planning to do it before Long Legs. Like we're going to be seeing Long Legs together. So I think what we're going to do is before Long Legs, we're going to go to the Barnes and Nobles that's actually in the theater, and we're going to look at the selection, and then we're going to, film our video. So I'll try to have it up by that weekend, I would say. So yes, be on the lookout for that. But for me, I don't know if it's going to be a lot of movies, because I know there's some movies that are coming out in like weird months, like Happiness and All of Us Strangers. I think they come out in September, so like those movies, I'll wait to buy in November. But excellent question. Marvin respond back. Not yet, at least. Yeah, Criterion Blu-rays and 4Ks are it's so cool how good they are. Like really good. Like I know one of the big things with collectors, including myself, is that upgrading from Blu-ray to 4K. But I'm not gonna lie, there's some Blu-rays from Criterion where I'm like, there's no need. There's just no need to upgrade to 4K. Like something like Night of the Living Dead, I really don't see myself upgrading. Because the Blu-ray is incredible. Silence of the Lambs, incredible, incredible. Thin Red Line, all great transfers. Oh, 1 second, Marv's calling me. 1 second, Marv.
Yo, dude, where are you at? I can't see you.
Wait, let me see.
I see it now. Is everybody still there?
Yeah, everyone's waiting for you.
Hey guys, now
Everyone's saying you're a hack fraud for not being on.
was on Power Wave, but I wanted to answer the last 2 questions that I got before I froze up.
What was it? This is, guys, Marv's back.
What was it was a comment that I was answering, but then it froze and then it cut off. But I wanted to make sure I answered that. And there was another one behind it. Can you Google it? Do you remember which question it was?
No. Let me try.
What director were we talking about?
Ridley Scott?
I said no. It was that. Oh yeah, yes. David C. had said that Body of Lies is underrated. I said I 1,000% agree. Mark Strong was good as the Master of Jordan. I really think that movie is forgotten about, but I think that's actually one of Leo's best movies. He does a Southern accent the whole time, really well.
Oh yeah, I forgot he did in that movie.
Yeah, and that's actually one of Oscar Isaac's first movies. Well, not his first movie, but
One of them.
That's before anybody knew who he was. I would say I think Russell Crowe's pretty underused in that movie.
Oh yeah.
They could have got anybody to play him. I really like the female lead who's also in the Extraction movies. I loved her a lot. I love the romance between the two characters. But I really got off on like just the fact that he was in the Middle East and like he was like trying to toe the line. That was pretty compelling, I thought. Like it was a very intriguing story. And just how close he was to, how it all ended up for him. That was pretty interesting, I thought. And I don't think the movie gets enough love. I don't think people even remember. I think that's a movie that came and went. That is a movie that literally came and went. And it doesn't come on cable. I don't think it's on the streaming service. It's just a movie that is just a movie that, well, if you're like me and David, you would love it. But besides us, whoever else, nobody really cares about it. I'm sure it's people out there that know it, respect it. But
oh yeah, I mean, I can't lie. I mean, I found it to be a pretty middle of the road movie, but what you guys are saying kind of makes me want to maybe possibly give it a rewatch.
I think that you definitely should do that. It's one of those movies where it's like.
Oh, Marv, are you still trying to get on? By the way.
No. But I wanted to answer that question.
You're out to go bet. You're such an old man. You hack.
I'm tired. I didn't say 2 hours.
Nah, I know. I'm playing. We got to do this again, though, man.
Yeah, we can do it at the same time next weekend.
We should. I think I can do that next week. Oh, I think I can actually. Yeah. Let me see. I know I'm going down the shore, but I think that. So Sunday, I believe I can do a live. Oh, it's not Sunday. No. I think Saturday night. Yeah, I can do a live stream. I probably.
Yeah.
Once I get home from the shore and everything, I think I could possibly do it.
Yeah. But just to quickly to wrap it up, I wanted to say I think that if you watch Body of Lies, you'd be like, it's not bad. It's actually quite solid. I think that would be your response, honestly.
I mean, hey, I'll take it. I gave it a what's it called? I think I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, if I recall correctly. Like, I don't think it was bad by any means, but I didn't think it was like great. But who knows?
I'm not saying I think that you will be like, this movie's cool. Like, let's give it a rewatch. I think this shit I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I definitely will. Well, I'll try.
Okay, all right.
Well, all right, Marv, say goodbye to everyone.
Hey, everybody. It was a pleasure talking to you all. Hopefully we can be a little bit more inclusive next time. We could all have open dialogue a little bit more. I love to talk to you all. I really appreciated all of your questions and everybody being polite to one another. That was nice. So I look forward to seeing you all in the next one next week. Thanks you for tuning in. It was nice to talk with all of you guys. I really.
Yeah, man. Great. Well, yeah, we'll try to do it at the same time next week. But I'll let you go, Marv.
All right, I'll text you in the morning, buddy. We can talk about. I'm off tomorrow, so I might see Horizon, but I'm not sure. But if not, we'll still talk about House of the Dragon tomorrow.
Yes, we will. All right, I'll talk to you in the morning, man.
All right, talk to you in the morning, buddy.
Yep. All right. That's good that we got some conclusion. All right. So sorry, I didn't forget about the comments. Andrew Lay, David Lynch is such a blind spot for me. Same with Kurosawa. I haven't seen any other films. Oh, dude. I would highly recommend both directors. I think the big thing with Lynch in regards to his work, I would start off with something like Elephant Man. I think Elephant Man would be a pretty good starting point. I would not go into the deep end though in regards to his work just yet. Dip your toes if you like Elephant Man. If you like Blue Velvet, then go to the extreme, which is like Lost Highway, Inland Empire, Mulholland Drive. Kurosawa, I've only seen like I think 5 or 6 of his films, but he's a good director. Can't articulate in regards to the Criterion sale. Yeah, I got Come and See, Parasite, Lost Highway, and Mulholland Drive. I didn't want to get a lot because of money. I probably won't get more until next year. I'm not really a physical media guy. Oh, that's a shame, man. I hope that you can become more into physical media because I'm not gonna lie, physical media is pretty awesome. Not only do you have it in your hands, but you get to watch it in like the best possible quality available. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if the film was shot on film and you have a theater near you that actually has film projectors, then yes, that would be better. But most people don't have that availability, so it's like physical media is like the next best thing, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong, streaming is convenient, and I respect that, but I hope that you get more into physical media. I really do. I mean, you started off with really good choices, though, 100%. I'll be curious to hear your thoughts on all the other movies if you haven't seen them yet. I will say I own all the ones that you mentioned on Criterion, Blu-ray, and 4K, except Parasite. Parasite, I own the Universal 4K. So I do not own the Criterion in regards to that. Ooh, David Pictures, 99 cents. Love it. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. That's gonna be starred. And David Pictures says you should make a Discord server, to be honest. So I thought about that when I created the tier in regards to my Patreon. Let me see. When I created the Patreon, that was something that I was kind of dabbling with, where I'm like, maybe I would do that, but I don't know. I was just kind of like, I don't know if people would really want to do that, so I was just kind of on the fence. So that's why I have the. Let me go back, so that way people can see the membership. 1 second. So the levels that I have right now are replies and shoutouts for $2.99. That's loyalty badges, priority replies to comments, and member shoutouts, meaning that, at the beginning of a video, or let's say, for example, if you comment, that means right away I'm going to respond to your comment. As opposed to now, I try to get to people's comments. I do, but this would like guarantee that, yeah, I'm going to answer your comment ASAP. Live stream early access, $5.99, includes the perks from the previous levels, but then also it's members only live streams and early access to new videos. This is something I have as $5.99. This is the one that honestly I was kind of like, I feel like this is what people kind of lean towards, because you would get to see my videos like a week in advance, possibly even two, depending on what I decide. And then the live stream that I have now, pretty much anyone can go on. But this, if I did a members only live stream, I feel like it's almost like a Discord, except I feel like with Discord, I've only used it once, I think. But I think with Discord, you guys can actually respond, not just like in messages, if I'm not mistaken. And then this one, I'm not gonna lie, I know that it's overly expensive, but the last tier I have is movie review choice, $49.99. Members only video, meaning that if there's a movie you want me to watch and review on the channel, $49.99. I don't expect really anybody to do that. I really don't. But I have the option out there. So it's like, if you really, really want me to watch this like a certain movie, then yeah, $49.99. And the reason why I say that is because some movies aren't always available. Like, for example, if I think I'm going to use one of the extreme movies, for example, something like Serbian film. I haven't seen it before, but if someone was like, "Oh, I want you to watch Serbian film," well, I would have to either track it down somehow, which is going to be, costly in regards to time, or I would have to possibly buy it on physical media. So that's why I have it as like really expensive. And then also just like the time and effort for doing like a separate video. So, but who knows? Maybe I'll lessen the tiers in regards to the money. I will say what's nice is that I'm almost like, I'm monetized right now, but I'm almost monetized to where I'm also getting ads and everything. So that will garner even more revenue. Again, not that I'm doing this for the money. If you've been with me since 2015, I love movies. I love TV shows. Not like some of these other hacks out there. I bow to Disney. Andrew, like, I don't own any physical medias I've gotten. I got to move back to my home country someday, and I don't want to be caught up with censorship laws. Ooh, this I want to hear more about. I need to know more about. So, with where you're living, you're saying that right now you can't really buy physical media, because if you were to buy it, like moving home, that you might not be able to like keep the movies because of like censorship laws. I'm curious. David Picture Serbian film is great, to be honest. That's one of the few. That's one of their shocker films that I haven't seen yet. I finally saw last night with some friends. I watched Gummo, directed by Harmony Korine. Like, I finally saw that. So I've seen some of the shocker films. Like, I've seen Pink Flamingos, seen Cannibal Holocaust, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I've seen like movies of those sorts, but there's some blind spots, I feel like. But it's nice. Yeah, I'll try to watch it now. Let me actually look up to see if I can find a Serbian film. When I last checked, it wasn't easy to find. Yeah, I'm looking. I'm on IMDb right now, and I literally, it's not even available to like rent. Not that I would rent it, but let me actually. I'm actually curious. I'm going to do this literally on here. Let me actually check to see if my local library has this movie. I am actually very curious to see if they would have that. I'm going to say this right now. If they do, I might actually just put a hold on it, just so I can finally say that I've seen the movie. But I don't think they would. No, my local library does not have a Serbian film. Okay. No, I'm kidding. David Pictures, Cannibal Holocaust. I saw a few weeks ago. Oh, really? Did you like it? Did you not? Let me know. I'm very curious. Warren Cornwallis, dude, welcome to the chat. Happy to have you, man. This year movies have been below average. Just only 2 or 3 were good movies. That's it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's honestly really good. My rule of thumb is there's usually I see over 100 movies per year in terms of ones that like came out that specific year. And what I always find is that there's usually 5, 10 movies that are like genuinely terrible. And then there's a lot of movies where it's like kind of middle of the road, okay, solidish. And then there's usually like five, 5 to 10 great movies. But of those great movies, there's only usually a couple where it's like, yeah, I'm rewatching it. Don't get me wrong, you'll have exceptions. But from my experience, there's always that kind of situation. So if the fact that right now we have only 2 or 3, good to great movies, that's fine because we're only 6 months in and we haven't even gotten to like Oscar season. Andrew Late, yeah, I can watch anything in New Zealand, but Vietnamese border custom screens foreign media to confiscate. The government bans lots of stuff. Oh, man, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh, that's a shame. See, I feel so bad. I'm so sorry to hear that, man. David Pictures, I liked it. I gave it a 7 out of 10. Very interesting film, even the middle was a bit slow. That's fair. Honestly, for me, I just the turtle scene, that kind of put me over the edge. Like I was just like at that point I kind of checked out. Like I think it's competently crafted for sure, but I don't know if I would ever rewatch that. That's one of those films where I like there's images that are seared in my mind. It's a hard film to watch though. So I give it credit where credit's due. Can't articulate. It's been decent. I'm super lenient. So like 10 movies, 4 stars and above for me thus far. I mean, honestly, can't articulate. I'm not gonna lie. I think. Let me look at my list real quick. I think I'm with you where I think that's around the amount. So for me, there's 4, 5, 6. So I have 7 movies that I technically have as 4 stars or more, and I've seen 54 2024 films. So I'm with you. I get that. Ace Plets, yo. Hey, Ace is in the house. About time. No, I'm kidding. You just missed my friend Marv. He was on the chat for, I would say probably about an hour 45, something like that. But he was great to have on here. We're looking to he'll possibly be doing this again in regards to live stream next Saturday. That's what we're trying to do. But I was telling him it really just depends on when I get home because then that Saturday night I'll be coming back from the shore. So it really depends on if I'm up for doing a live stream in regards to just being tired. Maybe I'll drink a Celsius though, and then I'll, gain my second footing. But I know that like as it gets later on in the night, I know I become like our president. Again, I have self-awareness. I know that. Ace Splits, I've done 3 episodes of Mr. Robot so far, season 2. Dude, yes. Season 2 is so good. But as I mentioned in messaging, I was not a fan of season 2 the first time I saw Mr. Robot. But then when I rewatched it, I loved it. I actually thought it was possibly better than season 1. But that wasn't, again, first viewing. That was a rewatch. So I'll be curious to hear how you like it. Can't articulate our president. Yeah, man, dude. I don't talk politics really on my channel, but I'm independent, which I look at as like moderate, where it's like there's sometimes where I might vote for one side, sometimes I might vote for the other. Just really depends. I personally don't like a two-party system, but I watched the debate and I was just like, man, we couldn't choose anyone, or these are the two people that we're stuck with. So I'm just like, all right, I can't wait until 2028. Like at least we'll have more people, more new individuals that we can choose from. Andrew Lay, it's okay. Pirating off the high seas is part of Vietnamese culture, man. LOL. It's bad, I know, but government left us no choice. You got to do what you got to do, man. I get it. In the United States, of course, it's not that bad. Actually, I shouldn't even say that bad. It's not bad the way that you clearly have it. Like that's terrible, man. I feel bad. But I will say that in the US, there are certain films where it's like you legit can't watch it any which way. Like you almost have to go to the seven seas. Like when I tried to watch all Park Chan Wook's films, there were two films that I couldn't find anywhere. I had to go to the seven seas in order to find them. So I believe me, I get that. Um, Ace Splits, I can understand why someone would like it on first watch. It's very trippy. Yes. It's very trippy. It's very experimental. There's one episode that's emulating a sitcom. That episode's amazing. It's easily one of my favorites. There's also a lot of, I know that in regards to mainstream filmmaking, I know that you always want the audience to understand what's happening. But Mr. Robot's not mainstream, it really, at least not in my eyes. It's a show that you need to feel as if you are in the characters' perspectives. And because certain characters in the show don't really know what's happening, we're following along their journey. And that's something that can be daunting for some viewers. But I think if you stick with it, if you stick with season 3 and 4, you'll see that everything that was set up in season 2 is just incredible. It really is. And I think it works on its own as well. Warren Cornwallis, aren't people tired of seeing how Hollywood has been portraying white men in their movies and making movies with multi-ethnic actors? Um, Expand on that. I'm curious. I'm curious with what well, with what you mean, to be honest. Just so I have like some context. Let's see. Ace Blood's also True Detective season 1 was incredible. Loved that. Dude, I'm so glad you loved it. That show was incredible. Um Seasons 2 to 4, I think, have mixed results. Like I think some are solid, some aren't. But yeah, season 1's incredible. Andrew Lay, saw the debate, felt like senior abuse, to be honest. Yeah, I told my wife this, and actually some of my friends. It felt like we were seeing two old senior citizens that are on different spectrums. Like one clearly has early signs of dementia, and the other is like that person that how like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. There's like the one scene where you see like someone that is pretending to be like the general and like in command. That's how I think the other person is. So it's like you have two people that clearly aren't fully cognitive. And I think that's kind of dangerous. But I will say the one person does have a cabinet that can back them up versus the other isn't able to hold on to cabinet members. So it's a mess. Like I said, as an independent voter, it's very like I don't know what to do, man. I really don't, which is frustrating. Can't articulate. June just decided to release a lot of TV shows, messed up my schedule. I've been trying to catch up on House of the Dragon, Boardwalk Empire, The Boys, The Bear, Dark Matter, and Presumed Innocent. I am so glad I'm not the only one. This comment, that's accurate. I originally had planned to binge watch The Bear, but I've only watched. I'm on episode 5, so I'm not even. I'm like I just finished episode 4, so I'm close to being halfway done. But I then also have later on today House of the Dragon. I'm also watching Sons of Anarchy. I'm watching Veep with my wife. So it's like there is a lot of shows, and also The Boys. Can't forget The Boys. So it is a lot. It's a lot of balancing for sure. Splits also been enjoying The Boys. Haven't started The Bear season 3 yet, but like the first 2 seasons so far. I'll be curious to hear how you like season 3 of The Bear so far. And I do agree with you. The Boys has been a lot of fun. I found out, I think it was yesterday, that apparently the season has like a lot of hate from fans. Like, okay, it's just interesting. Splits, how far are you on Sons of Anarchy now? So I think I'm on season 3, episode 3. I want to say. Um, as I told you, my rule of thumb is with like the summer shows is trying to watch like one season per month. But I was like, I'll watch a couple episodes this month just to dip my toes in season 3. So nothing major has really happened. It's been fine, but it hasn't really done much for me, to be honest. I can't articulate. I'm on episode 5 2 of The Bear. Okay, so I'm glad I'm not the only one where it's like kind of on the same page. I don't know. It's a lot to try to keep up with, honestly. Splits, people are saying it's too woke and political now. Yeah, which I think is funny because, for one, and I'm sure some of you know this if you've been, um, following me on my channel. My one thing is this: woke. It's not a film criticism. That's not. That is clickbait. I don't do clickbait. I mean, I shouldn't say I don't do clickbait. Don't get me wrong. I have fun with some of my thumbnails and some of the captions, but I've wanted to do a video tackling quote unquote woke and how it's not valid film criticism, because think about it. It is something that people are talking about now, but it's like it's like a slang. 10, 15 years from now, people aren't going to say, you know what? The Mandalorian season 3, it was woke. That's why it was bad. No, it was bad because the writing wasn't strong. It was bad because the characters weren't fleshed out. It wasn't because of this whole thing of like, oh my goodness, there was someone that wasn't white. Like, that concept to me is lunacy. Don't get me wrong. You can say that the themes were heavy-handed. You can say that it was disjointed in regards to the directing of how they try to approach the messages. That's something I look at as valid. But if you just say it's woke, it's such a broad term. It's like if I were to sit here and say, you know what, just and I'm not, even if I say something's like, oh, it's just okay. It's like if I just say like, this. Trying to think of a good example. I don't have a good example because I think it's just lunacy. I really do. And political, like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm off to the side. I'm like, political, like The Boys has been political since day one, and also it's films and TV shows, for crying out loud. It's art. Of course, there's going to be politics, just like there's going to be religion. Like, just, it's so lunatic. It's idiocracy. Warren Cornwallis, Bridgerton is about British white people. There was no black people at that time, but they put black actors in it. Same with Macbeth movie. Macbeth was a white man. So this is a lot to break down. So Bridgerton, first of all, that's a terrible example. Bridgerton is supposed to be a fluffy soap opera show that's supposed to just be fun. I haven't seen the show, but it's just creativity choices. I wouldn't take something like that seriously. Like, I don't know. I think it's funny. I mean, there were black people in the time. It's not like in the last 10 years, all of a sudden there was black people. Like, you know, earlier on the stream, my friend Marv was on here. Marv's 32. So it's like, I mean, there's been black people for at least 32 years. So I don't know. I don't really see this as a valid criticism, to be honest. Again, Macbeth is something that Macbeth has been done to death. So it's like, why not add a little twist to it? I don't know. I just don't see that as a valid criticism personally. Like, for example, and I've talked to Ace about this, one of my favorite shows is Hannibal. And Hannibal, predominantly, there's a character named Jack Crawford. And in previous adaptations, he was predominantly white. But in the TV show Hannibal, which, by the way, came out in 2013, 11 years ago, Jack Crawford's played by Lawrence Fishburne, who's black. I didn't look at it and say, oh my goodness, he's black. Like, what's wrong with this? I looked at it and I said, okay, let's see what they do with this. And Lawrence Fishburne gave a great performance. He was fantastic in it. Just immediately immersed. Again, it's all about creative choices. It's all about choosing the actors and what they bring, if that makes sense. But that's just my 2 cents. At the end of the day, film and TV shows is a director giving their own creative spin on things. That's all. Bridgerton is not supposed to be historically accurate. I'm just going to say that right now. Like, not at all. Like, this ain't Barry Lyndon. Ace Splits. My favorite part of the Bear so far was they did with Richie in season 2. Yes, Richie had such a great character arc in season 2. That was incredible, honestly, with what they were able to do. Andrew Lay. Haven't seen Bridgerton, so I can't say Warren. But Denzel playing Macbeth is great, man. He's an excellent theatrical actor. Shakespeare was an author, not a historian. Yeah, I mean, piggybacking off Andrew, Shakespeare was pretty much the MCU of back in the day. Like, he was that fluffy kind of, fun theatrical writer. He wasn't like, now, of course, we look at him as like beloved and everything, but he wasn't like, if I'm not mistaken, he wasn't really looked at as like the greatest of his time. It was something that over time, that's when he became, something where it was like, oh wow, this is like interesting. But I do agree also with Andrew. Like, Denzel did a great job playing him. Like, he gave a great performance. There's a reason why he got an Oscar nomination. Like, he was fantastic. So I agree. He really chewed into that dialogue and just did such a great job with it. And again, that was a Coen Brothers film. That was a Coen brother movie. And so they were adding their own spin to it. And it's like going back full circle, what I was saying earlier. What's the point of having an adaptation if you're not going to add your own spin to it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to be so bland if you're just like doing copy paste. Like, nobody wants that. Or I guess some people do, but then they get it and then they don't like it. Hey, Splits, I met Dom in season 2, Mr. O, by the way, and Leon is a new character now. Oh, yeah, Leon's great. And Dom is incredible. She is easily one of my favorite characters. I feel as though her arc is something incredible, man. Just, you'll see what I'm saying. Fun fact, she is the daughter of Meryl Streep. I didn't realize it until I think a year or 2 ago, but she's incredible. Can't articulate the Bear season 3, not as good as 1 and 2 thus far, in my opinion. Oh, I to be honest with you, I need to finish it before really making an opinion, but I'll say so far, I like the direction that they're taking, like, without spoiling it for other people. I like that they're focusing on the critic aspect of how, like, they want to get those positive reviews and everything, which is important in the restaurant industry. So I like that so far. Warren Cornwallis, Hollywood is against white men. Disney CEO was called on tape that they wouldn't cast white men in their movies. And Hollywood is promoting interracial love stories deliberately to brainwash white girls. I think we'll take this. I think we'll take the sentence by sentence. So let me pull up on my top 10 list. So if you look at, and I'm not going to say like my top 10 favorite movies of the year. If you look at some of the big movies, Bike Riders, Austin Butler, Dune Part 2. One of, if not the biggest movie of the year. Timothy Chalamet. White. Hitman. Glenn Powell. Pretty big success on Netflix, I must say. Problemista. White. Late Night with the Devil. White male. The new Guy Ritchie film, The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. Henry Cavill, amongst other actors that are white. The Promised Land. Mads Mikkelsen. White. So, factually, I wouldn't say that's correct. Are there some films that have females and people of other races? Yes. But I don't see that. I don't see that that's something that's wrong. I mean, film's been around for over 100 years, and there's plenty of films that also have people that aren't just white. Next sentence. Disney CEO was caught on tape that they wouldn't cast white men in their movies. I mean, they literally have movies though that do have white people. I mean, look at, for example, we were talking earlier about the Lone Ranger. The Lone Ranger, Army Hammer, white. Johnny Depp, white. Also, by the way, playing Native American. John Carter, Taylor Kitsch, white. So I don't really, to be honest, I really don't see that. But you're in totally view. I mean, I definitely get that. And Hollywood's promoting interracial love stories deliberately to brainwash white girls. I really don't see that, honestly. I don't think showing interracial love stories is gonna brainwash white girls. I really don't see that. Like, kind of confused by that, to be honest. I kind of want an elaboration on that. I don't really see that. I don't think when someone's watching something, if they see two people of different races like kissing, I don't think people are like, oh my goodness, I'm getting brainwashed. Like, I don't know. But that's just me. What do I know? Ace Bliss, thoughts on there being more Dexter. Personally, not happy with it. So I think we're on the same page with this. I think that's going to be more distracting than anything because we've seen what Dexter looks like when he's younger. We've seen what he looks like when he's younger. We've also seen what's his face, the actor that plays Dexter Morgan. We've seen him play younger versions, so I feel like it's going to be kind of distracting, if anything. But I'm going to try to keep an open mind because Christian Slater is in it. So I like him as an actor. So I'm going to try to keep an open mind. Maybe I'll check it out. But I have low expectations. I really do. I think that was a show that I kind of wish, Michael C. Hall, as you said, I kind of wish that they just left it as just 8 seasons, in my opinion. But I'll keep an open mind. Let's see. He's great as Mr. Robot. Yeah, he really is. I loved Mr. Robot. Can't articulate. I would still like to watch the Dexter prequel show. That's fair. Honestly, I'm glad to hear that some people are excited about that. Because I know from me, when I heard the news, I was like, okay, like, all right. Sometimes when I hear news, I'm just like, I have like a knee-jerk reaction, like Shogun when that got announced that they're going to be having like another 2 seasons. I was like, but why? Season 1 ended so nicely. Like, why? But then I'm also like, okay, but I think Westworld was also only supposed to have 1 season. That had more seasons, and I ended up really liking it. Ace But's apparently doing a bunch of spinoffs, which is annoying. I can't articulate. We're in the era of spinoffs for TV shows, so I'm just going to get used to it. Yeah, I mean, it's just overwhelming, to be honest. like I know that The Boys had a spinoff, and I'm like, I'm not watching it. It's just I'm like, stick with The Boys. Like, just okay. I'm trying to think of other shows where it's like there's just spinoffs, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like Marvel does that a lot. They have a bunch of like spinoff shows and everything. I know Yellowstone has a bunch of spinoffs, and I'm like, there's like 5 spinoffs. I'm not going to get into this. This is just overwhelming. Andrew Lay agreed a large part of Hollywood is getting into identity politics when they shouldn't. Their job is to tell good stories, but it isn't our job to put undue attention on controversial politics in movies. If you don't like something, just refuse to watch. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like I personally, going off of this, I will say this: um, it is to tell good stories, but it's also to tell good stories that can also speak to people like emotionally. And I think that having people of other races, other identities, like I think that that's fine because if anything, that can add originality because you're hearing a new voice, a new perspective. Like I like to think of something like Moonlight. We've seen coming of age films. We've seen films about the struggle of being gay, but seeing it from the perspective of a black gay man, that was something that I had never seen before. And I think that that's why it really kind of struck out to me because you could see that it was someone that was like really passionate. Um, and don't get me wrong, there's plenty of movies that, might be heavy handed, or just don't really have passion. But if you tell a good story, going with what you're saying, Andrew, if you tell a good story, there's passion behind it, there's a lot of love, then I think that it will speak to other people, and that, like you said, the people won't look at the identity politics because at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter. That's not going to last in terms of like 10, 15 years from now. That is a time, like that is a blip. People talk about it for a week or two and then they don't really remember. Like that's just me though. You know, I think that those kind of things a lot of times are just used to kind of drum up attention, which can then hopefully, in their eyes, garner views and whatnot. But let me see, where am I at? Ace Split says need to watch Shogun. It looks great. Yeah, Ace, you would like it. I would recommend it. Ace Split says, yeah, I didn't watch Shin B either. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll watch it at some point. I don't really have a desire, to be honest. Like I heard it was good. Don't get me wrong, but just haven't had any issues. Can't articulate. I think Yellowstone has like 4 spinoffs. I stopped after the Harrison Ford one. Yeah, I heard the Harrison Ford one. I heard that one was good. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think you reviewed Horizon. I think you said that you really liked it and that you liked Yellowstone. So it's telling that you stopped after one spinoff because it's like it's a lot. Warren Cornwallis, I am not white man. We all know deep in our heart Hollywood has some agenda against white men. Putting white men in a bad position in their movies, not all Hollywood filmmakers, but most do. Um, I I would definitely disagree with this. Um, like a lot. I mean, if you look at history, um, white men have been in power of Hollywood. Like it's not even really a debate. Like if you open a history book, or even if you just look at you know the last 100 years of cinema, especially if you look at the Oscars, like how many white men have won movies for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor, Best Screenplay? It's a lot. It's a lot. You know how many women have won Best Director? You can count on your hands. I think it's 3, if I'm not mistaken. So I disagree. Like I said, I mean, I know you're saying you're not white. I never said that you were. I'm saying that that idea is in my eyes kind of like ludicrous. But again, you do you. At the end of the day, it's just agree to disagree. Can't articulate. I actually liked Gen V. Okay, maybe you know what? Maybe I'll check it out then. Ace Splits. Apparently, they plan on doing more Game of Thrones spinoffs too. Yeah, and even though I love Game of Thrones, I just think that it's so overwhelming. You know what I'm saying? Like it almost becomes homework if you're doing five different spin-off shows and it's like then expecting the audience to be able to keep up with all of them. Like that's a lot in my eyes. And I think you're gonna lose viewership too. Can't particularly. I hope they do more Game of Thrones spin-offs. Game of Thrones was just one era in the story of the universe. See, I'm not gonna lie, like I'm liking House of the Dragon, and I'm curious to see where it's gonna go because even though I've seen Game of Thrones multiple times, I forget. I know technically Joffrey spoils House of the Dragon, and I think it's season 3, episode 4. I don't remember what he says, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's gonna happen next. But um, I don't know. A-splits, I don't know. Spinoffs exist. I personally don't like them. The only exception is Better Call Saul. Yeah, and that's the thing. Better Call Saul, that was a show that it took me a long time to get into. I think it was like season 4. That was when I like really started getting into it. But for the longest time, like I thought it was good, but I wasn't loving it. Just I feel like a lot of times it's very difficult to capture either the same essence of the original or trying to do your own thing and still maintaining audiences you know like lens. So I don't know. Andrew Lay, I'm interested to see how much all this identity politics is going to play into casting decision once the category opens up the Oscars. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I am wondering if that will change down the line, and I think that it's definitely going to be interesting. And I don't know. I think that whenever there's some kind of quote unquote change, I feel like you're gonna have some people not be happy with it, and I think that might be why they haven't changed the categories because for the Oscars they're trying to gain back viewership. They're trying to gain viewership back from the olden days. Um, that's one of the reasons why you see films that were financially successful, big blockbusters, but also were a hit with critics. That's why you'll see some of those films now because they're trying to gain that viewership back. Don't get me wrong, like I can see the validation of these movies being nominated, but I also see that that could be why because they want to gain that viewership back. And I think that with identity politics, you have it, you have this topic. It's like split among people. You have people that are like all about it, and I get that, and then you have people that are like really against it. And for me, I'm just like, it's so it's so difficult because it's like I get why there's the discussion, but I think the two extremes it makes it so that it's less welcoming when both sides are that extreme in my eyes. But I don't know. Like I just think I think identity politics. Like I don't know. Like look at horror films. I mean, something like Alien. If Alien came out today, people would say it's what quote unquote woke, and it's like it's not woke. It's just like it just so happens to have a diverse cast, but it's like what's wrong with that? Like or Annihilation. Like what's wrong with having an all female casting? I don't see an issue with that. I want to hear new stories. I want to see new perspectives. That's just me personally. Ace Bullets. The Walking Dead is the most annoying with spinoffs. There's like 100 of them and they're not done. Yeah, man. I always hear about them. And like I honestly, there's a reason why I bailed after season 2. Ace Bullets. I think what happened to the guy who plays Joffrey is awful. He did so good and he got hate for it. Yeah, man. It's honestly kind of crazy in regards to his situation because he stopped acting because of just all the hate he got. Although he was recently in a Liam Neeson film, who by the way, Liam Neeson, he's white. Liam Neeson was in a film called In the Land of Saints and Sinners, and the actor who plays Joffrey is in that as well. And if you get a chance, I would recommend checking it out because it's a rock solid film. I thoroughly enjoyed it from this year. Let me see. Can't articulate. I'm a fan of The Walking Dead, so I don't mind, except for the ones that don't relate to the main story. That's fair. Eastblet's The Walking Dead got so bad for season 16 before that had a lot of flaws, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I stopped after season 2. I couldn't even get through it, so I can only imagine what it was like after. But I see the appeal. Like I see, especially about people that like survival movies and TV shows and end of world. I get that. Warren Cornwallis, today's Hollywood filmmakers are against white men. Back in the good old days, Hollywood was fine. It's now that Hollywood's turned up against white men. Well, Warren, what I'm trying to get at is I brought up like facts. Like I read the movies that came out this year that were directed by white men, as well as if you pull up a history book in regards to the Oscars, that what you're saying doesn't line up with it. So I want to hear. I don't want to hear opinion. I want to hear facts. Or if you have an opinion, to back it up with such, because this like it like I don't know if you're you know, I'm trying to say this nicely. I don't know if you're trolling or being funny, but if you genuinely mean this comment, you need to back it up with facts, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Like the Oscars has been going on for almost 100 years. And you know how many white people, white men, white cis men have won Best Director? Pretty sure. I think the Oscars has been 96 years. 93. 3 women. Catherine Bigelow for The Hurt Locker. Chloe Zhao for Nomadland. And of course, Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. It's 3 women. It's really not that much. And even if you look in the last 25 years, 3 women in the last 25 years, that's 22 white men. Pretty sure actually white men. Yeah. Or maybe we'll say 20. But decided, yeah, like there really hasn't been other people, other identities, other colors that have won Oscars. It's very, very few. So I mean, look at it. When Halle Berry, when she won Best Actress for Monsters Ball, that was 20 plus years ago. And I think the next one after that was Viola Davis for Fences. Like it doesn't happen often. So it's like I don't know. Like I said, you're entitled to your viewpoint, but I think that if someone has a viewpoint that just doesn't match with history or facts, I think that they need to back it up with something. So that way I can say, okay, I understand where you're coming from. Because now I'm kind of confused, honestly. Ace Blitz. I don't get why people care so much about genders and races of characters. I don't care what they are as long as the writing and acting is great. I agree with this. Because at the end of the day, if you are constantly just watching something and looking at like, oh my goodness, this film has a white, or no, actually, let me back up. If you are constantly watching something and being like, oh my goodness, this is a black female, like with challengers, it's like you're kind of missing the point of acceptance. Like acceptance is about embracing people for who they are and with what they're going for. Like if you're just constantly looking at that, you're missing out on writing, you're missing out on structure of story, editing, pacing. You're missing all the filmmaking, which is what makes up a film, not the color of someone's skin. Because at the end of the day, that isn't going to last 50 years from now. You know what I'm saying? Like if 50 years ago, if you were watching the original Halloween and saying, oh my goodness, this film has a white girl as a lead actress, like holy cow, why couldn't it have been a male? Like Halloween 1978 is so woke. You're missing out on the filmmaking. You're missing out on a great opening scene, a great iconic score, a film that flies by at 90 minutes. You're missing out on all the good stuff, man. And that's all I'm saying. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to like and everything, but I am saying that at the end of the day, film is an art form, and an art form is open to everyone and anything, and that's what's great about it. Can't articulate. Season 7 to 10 were utter garbage. They should have done the battle in 1 or 2 episodes instead of 2 seasons like Game of Thrones did. Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't heard good things. Andrew Lay agreed. Ace, yeah, Ace makes a lot of good comments. Ace splits and season 11 was bad. Oof, can't articulate. I like season 11. See, that's what's great about opinions, though. Like I like hearing these multiple takes. The only good part was Negan, in my opinion. I love Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He was like the one thing that was like making me say, you know what, maybe I'll give Vulcan a second chance. And then I heard shortly after that not even he could save it. Can articulate. Warren, I disagree. A lot of white men are winning a lot of awards. Yeah, this. Like, yeah, like, I'm sorry. Like, I love Oppenheimer. It was my favorite film of last year, but that was a film that starred a white male. It was directed by a white male. Won 7 Oscars. So I don't know if quote unquote Hollywood hates white males, then why did they give Best Picture to Oppenheimer? That's all I'm going to say. Like I said, this channel, I look at facts. I look at history. I try not to get emotions involved with that kind of stuff because it's like facts are facts. If you can't back something up, and it's like, it's like, well, what's there to say? It's like, for example, I'm sure many of you follow me on Letterboxd. There are times where I will see a movie in theaters, and I won't really have much to say about it. So I don't do a movie review on it. And the reason why is because I'm like, I can't really articulate my feelings, my thoughts, the breakdown of like the structure, the storytelling, the cinematography. So I'm just going to keep it simple and write a review on Letterboxd and just leave it at that. I'm not going to, film a movie review. But if I actually have a lot to say about it and I can actually articulate well, then I try to do a movie review. And that's just my mindset. But I don't know. I just honestly, that comment is making me want to do a video about that even more. So I'm just like, what the heck? Let me see. Oh, where did I miss? Esports after Rick left, it was just so unbearable to watch. I did hear that. Andrew Lay, like I have a degree in politics and I love movies. I like watching movies with stories about politics, not the politics behind the stories. Yeah, I mean, if you have a degree in politics, then you of all people know that it's like movies have had politics since the beginning. Even at Charlie Chaplin films, you can watch Charlie Chaplin films and you can look at it as he's like dissecting the social construct of that time period, the Great Depression, and how that ties into a lot of his films, and the overall impact that he was going for. And that's early cinema. It's nothing new to have politics in it, but I do agree that it's like the behind the scenes where it's like, secretly there's been a meeting, and you know what? We can't hire a white male for this particular movie. And the movie's like something I like, I don't know, Get Out. It's like, yeah, I mean, I kind of don't want to see a white male in a movie like Get Out. Just saying, like, I feel like if Daniel Kaluuya wasn't in that role, and I don't know, let's say John Krasinski was, I don't think it would kind of have the same impact. It's all about context. So I do agree with Andrew. Ace Splats, he is worth it, to be honest. Incredible character. I've heard. I know the infamous scene with Negan. I can't articulate, don't get me wrong. I understand all the criticism, but I just still like it. And that's fine. That is completely fine, man. I get this. There there are plenty of times where I've had this experience. I get that. Ace Plus, Jeffrey Dean Morgan has been great as Joel so far. Yeah, he's ever since Watchmen 2009, which, by the way, stars a lot of white men. Anyways, Watchmen 2009, which like Jeffrey Dean Morgan was great in that. That was when I first saw him, I think, and I was like, this guy's really good. Like he's very charismatic and he delivers really good performances. So I'm glad that he took off after that. Ace Splits, politics can be great and stuff. Look at the first 4 seasons of Game of Thrones, for example. Yeah, I mean, politics is it's interwoven with art. You know, like how many books do you read where it's like they're talking about the social construct of the time, the politics of the time. It's something that it's like, okay, I get it if some people don't want to talk about politics, but it's like to just say like, oh, I don't want politics in my movies or my TV shows. It's like, well, you kind of are showing your media literacy. And I'm saying this nicely, trying to at least, but media literacy is looking at movies and understanding that it's like there are always politics, religious iconography. There's all this stuff in film. Like, look at Man of Steel. We were talking about Man of Steel earlier. Man of Steel is a film that, oh, by the way, Man of Steel stars a white actor, white lead actor, I should say, white male. That's a film that has so much religious imagery, so much like, hey, Superman's like supposed to be like a Christ-like figure. There's politics in that too. Like early on, you do see how the world of Krypton is, how it works. One of the things as to why Krypton doesn't really get saved other than one person is because of the politics, because you have people that are battling back and forth and aren't able to find a middle ground as to how they're actually going to save Krypton, because half the people don't believe that Krypton's going to be destroyed and the other does. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you didn't want politics, you wouldn't have that scene, and you would just have a typical scene of destruction that you've seen 1,000 times, as opposed to what you saw in the opening scene of Man of Steel. That's all I'm saying. Like, movies have it. They've had it for 100 years. And guess what? For the next 100 years, they also will. I really do want to make a video about this. And just create a bunch of clickbait. Ace Splats, Negan is one of the best redemption arcs ever. Oh, that is interesting to hear. Can't articulate for crime, second best protagonist in fiction, objectively, of course. That's fair. I mean, the name alone is something that's very like catchy. He was interesting enough when I saw him in the first 2 seasons, but I don't know. Like I said, I feel bad saying that I don't love Walking Dead, because I know there are a lot of fans of the show, but it just really didn't do much for me. Like, I remember when I was watching, I was like, oh, I could just be watching 28 Days Later, which I love. I love 28 Days Later. Let's see. A Split Trick is great, but there's definitely way better. Yeah, I mean, honestly, as far as like shows of the 2010s, one character I do want to point out that I really like is the characters, I should say. Sorry, it's late. Characters is Frank Underwood and Claire Underwood. Those 2 characters in House of Cards are really interesting. I will say, if you haven't seen this show yet, I would say just watch the first 2 seasons. Season 2 has a finale where it's like works as a series finale. Would highly recommend that show. That's so, like, the first 2 seasons are amazing. Ice Plants comic. Rick Grimes is on a different level though. So much better than the show adaptation. I need to watch House of Cards. Looks great. Yeah, I didn't read of course, I didn't read the Walking Dead comics, but I have heard that. I am kind of curious, like, what the big difference is in regards to the comics to the TV show. But going back full circle to what I was saying earlier, I understand that you have to take liberties sometimes. So it's like I'm sure that there are some differences, but I mean, it seemed like it did well when it came out. So there's that. But yeah, House of Cards, I would say give it a shot. I only watched the first two though. Yeah, honestly, just watch the first two seasons. Season two. So for context, season two is it's so great that there is a scene where you know how I don't know if Ace if you have Netflix, but you know how if you start up Netflix, you hear about dun-dun, like a little tap. That is from House of Cards season two. I'm not going to spoil what it is, but it's a pretty big moment in terms of like with what happens, and that sound effect is now ingrained into Netflix history because it's the first thing you hear when you open up Netflix. So I love House of Cards season two and season one. They are both incredible. And I know that I know what you're thinking. When season two, the finale happens, you'll be like, oh, I kind of want to watch more. I wouldn't do it because season three is good, but it set up for then season four. And season four just really isn't strong. And season five is, yeah. Ice Bloods, the story is completely different. Oh, okay. That's honestly good to hear. Andrew Lay, I mean, you could make videos recommending movies for the election season as clickbait, lol. Yeah, that's a good point. I could do that. That's the thing. I don't really like it's Andrew, to be fully transparent. I do want to do a video about like film criticism and how woke isn't that. Um, but the thing is, I'm like, how do I make it so that way it's not clickbaity? And I just think that there really isn't any way around it because as soon as people hear that word, you're gonna get certain viewers that want to click on it. And then when they hear that you're not agreeing with them and that you're actually trying to, be moderate and also try to at the same time bring about a different perspective and new information and facts, you're gonna get a lot of dislikes. And not that I have anything against dislikes per se, but it's like I'm trying to bring positivity. I'm trying to showcase that film is open for everyone. Film is also something that, in terms of criticism, when you go to film school or you take film classes, you don't hear what's a good movie. You don't hear, oh my goodness, 12 Years a Slave. I didn't like it. Oh, why didn't you like it? It was woke. No, if you're in a film class and you say that, guess what? Everyone's gonna laugh you out of the room because it's like, what? But if you say genuinely speaking that, oh, I didn't like 12 Years a Slave because I thought the, pacing was too laborious for me. It was a little too long. Structurally, I wasn't a fan of it. I thought that they could have utilized a bit more dialogue to emphasize, certain scenes. The sequences of silence over, score, I also wasn't a fan of. If you say stuff like that, okay, even if I don't agree, it's still something that is valid because you're actually saying words that match what the film is, as opposed to something that's just, you know, something that originally was supposed to be positive and they got a negative spin on it. That's what I'm saying. Like I know I might do the video down the line, but it's just something that really grinds my gears. Rant over. Ace Blitz, just like the boys comics, they're completely different. I've heard that too. Can articulate number 1, Thorfinn Gornsky, number 2, Rick Grimes, 3, Frank Sight. Franklin St. Sorry. Ace Blitz, yeah, I have Netflix, didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah, man. I didn't know it until the season 2 finale when I rewatched it. And I was like, oh my goodness, I know that sound. Ace Blitz heard it can be a little overrated by fans. Same with Snowfall. Ace Blitz. Thoughts on Daredevil, heard that was good. So I have an interesting relationship with that show. The first time I watched Daredevil, I loved season 1. I tried to watch season 2. I got like a couple episodes a couple episodes in, and then I bailed. I rewatched it last year, like fully. I actually watched all of season 2, and I also watched season 3, and of course I rewatched season 1. And I think that it's a good show, but there are a lot of flaws in it. I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect. It's not, but it is a fun watch. I do think that if you want like an action show that has some character drama, it is good. Oh, it does star also a white male, but Hollywood has something against white males. I'm sorry. I know I'm busting balls, but I'm sorry. I can't resist. Ace Plets. I also thought on people saying Anthony Starr has surpassed Heath Ledger Joker. I wouldn't agree with that. I think that he's great, but I wouldn't personally say that. But I at the same time respect people saying that, because I do think he is great. No question about it. He is really, really good. Let's see. Can't articulate. He has for me Ace. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Ace Splits. I think Homelander is better as well. Like I said, I respect your guys' opinions. Because at the end of the day, like, he is great. He is really good. Every time he's on screen, I'm like terrified. Andrew Lay, finally saw Citizen Kane recently. My political self really did the themes explored, and my cinephile self drooled over the cinematography. Also, this is one of those good old-fashioned Hollywood movies. And it's about politics. So, yeah. I'm glad you like Citizen Kane, Andrew Lay. That is one of my favorite films of all time. I think it is an incredible film. Very sad, too. Very, very sad, but such a great film. I'm glad you really dug it. And I agree. The cinematography was groundbreaking. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to mention Citizen Kane, actually. So, when Citizen Kane came out, people didn't like the politics of it because it was supposed to be a representation of, I think it was Roland Hearst, someone like that. But think about it now, when people watch it, people aren't talking about the controversy around it. They're watching it because of the strong writing, cinematography, the strong thematic richness, like I said, the character study, the ending. All I'm going to say, Ace Plus, I just think Homelander's a character is better, and when he gets more screen time, he'll probably get even better. Agreed. Ace Plus, Homelander is bad in the comics, though. Oh. Andrew Lay Rosebud. That ending is so good. It's so sad, though, but it's so good. Like, whoever came up with that twist, it was just, they were a genius. All right, guys, I'm going to be wrapping things up. If there's any final thoughts, going back to what Marv said probably about an hour ago almost. Ace Plets. Homelander eats a baby in the comics. Oh, shoot. Jeez. That's something. Yeah, I'm going to try to do a live stream next Saturday. Really depends on though when I get home from the shore and if I'll be up for it. So we'll find out then. But either way, I'm glad. I really enjoyed all this discussion. I'm glad to see a lot of familiar faces as well as new faces. I really appreciate you guys' support. Be on the lookout for some new videos. I know I recently dropped my Kino Lore physical media haul. I also dropped my Boyhood versus Birdman video today. That was a lot of fun. Let me see. And then I think there's another video that's coming out this week. Let me see 1 second. Oh, a ghost story. That's July. So So June we're all set. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. Ace, it's great talking to you. Thanks for the talk, man. And then Ace my apologies, can't articulate, says, see ya, Chad. Can't articulate. I look forward to seeing more of your reviews for Lost Highway, among other ones that you picked up. Come and see. Ace Blitz, join Letterboxd. You won't regret it. I know Andrew's already a part of the community, which is great. But yeah, Andrew, night. Marv's cool. See you, Chad. Andrew, I'll catch you later, guys. Peace out. Have a good night.